Chapter 961. The fairy foxes were known for their seductive skills. Seduction was embedded in their bones. Every frown, every smile, every gesture could seduce people's souls. But at the moment, Foxy was not seductive at all. She was glowing in a white light. She looked holy and pure. In everyone's eyes, or in everyone's world, she was the only one left. They could not help but stare at her. Her stunning beauty had taken over their souls. A fairy from heaven. In everyone's eyes, Fox Lady had become a beautiful woman. She was so beautiful that it could break people's hearts. She was so beautiful that no one dared to look away. Even the law enforcement elder's eyes were filled with passion. Buzzing, the dark fog was dispersing. Patriarch of law enforcement soul was frightened. He could no longer use profound meaning. Naturally, the dark fog dispersed. Luli was obsessed as well. The Featherwind Castle had collapsed. He stared at Foxy. The other beast gods did the same. None of them moved. All they could see was Foxy. Foxy smiled and flew over. Many Featherwind castles had collapsed, so Foxy was not affected. What was strange was that A.O. Ding was not affected at all. He followed behind Foxy slowly. He kept his eyes on Foxy, but kept his eyes on Patriarch of Law Enforcement from the corner of his eyes. Now, when Foxy was thousands of feet away from Patriarch of Law Enforcement, A.O. Ding suddenly shouted. He dashed over like a sharp sword. His ninth claw suddenly turned golden as he reached at Patriarch of Law Enforcement's head. Swish! There was a faint glow around the claw. There were mysterious runes in the claw. The 5 sharp claws were glowing in a golden hue. They pierced through the void and tore the space apart. It was not hard to imagine how miserable it would be if one was scratched by the claw. Buzzing. The silver dragon mark in Lu Li's soul glowed. The image of Foxy, the goddess, disappeared. As a matter of fact, he had been able to resist Foxy's enchantment because it was only at the 2nd level. For him, it was not fatal. Luli looked at Patriarch of Law Enforcement from the corner of his eyes. Seeing the confusion in Patriarch of Law Enforcement's eyes, Luli smiled to himself. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was better at pretending than Luli. Not even Foxy could confuse him completely. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was a semi-god realm warrior with a strong soul. How could he be frightened so easily? Rip. As expected, when A.O. Ding's claws were about to touch the Patriarch of Law Enforcement, the latter raised his iron rod and smashed it at A.O. Ding's head. His strike was no ordinary strike. Dark elements from all directions quickly gathered around the iron rod. Black chi condensed on the iron rod. By the time it hit A.O. Ding's head, the black chi had already reached a terrifying level. Bang! The law enforcement elder was at the immortal realm, and it was a sneak attack. There was no way A.O. Ding could dodge it. With a dull explosion, A.O. Ding's huge body was sent flying. A deep crack appeared on his head, and blood gushed out. He instantly fainted, and it was unknown whether he was still alive. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was shocked. How could he not smash A.O. Ding's head with his full strength? The defensive power of the 9-clawed Silver Dragon clan was too terrifying. A 9-clawed Silver Dragon at the Beast God level already had such a terrifying defense. If it had reached the level of a divine beast, Yi Futian's attacks wouldn't have been able to injure it. Whoosh, whoosh, Luli made a move as well, but not Foxy. It just so happened that Foxy had attracted all the Beast God's attention. It was best for him to launch a sneak attack. He flew over. His bead of life glowed and formed another Featherwind Castle. That being said, this Featherwind Castle was not as large as the previous one. With a radius of 1 mile, it covered several beast gods nearby. Bones of Tortoise, kill yourself. 16 of Ape shouted. He knew something was wrong when he saw that Bones of Tortoise was surrounded by Lu Li's Featherwind Castle. If Bones of Tortoise was taken down by Lu Li, then the formation would be useless. With the Wicked Bead, Lu Li could go out and enjoy a boundless world. Lu Li did not know if Bones of Tortoise had suicidal thoughts, but he did not have the ability to do so. Lu Li had taken special care of Bones of Tortoise. The feather wind around Bones of Tortoise was especially thick. Apart from holding his head and screaming, there was nothing Bones of Tortoise could do. Bang, bang, bang. Luli released some feather-wind weapons and aimed at several beast gods near Bones of Tortoise. Those beast gods were strong in defense, but the feather-wind weapons were horrifying. By the time Luli reached Bones of Tortoise, those beast gods were already riddled with holes. They could not be more dead than now. Naturally, beast gods were strong in defense. However, their souls were under attack. They could not defend themselves. They had to rely on their own defense. The feather-wind weapons were endless. Naturally, they could not defend themselves. Bang! Luli's fist landed on Bones of Tortoise. Bones of Tortoise was about to pass out. Luli's punch knocked him out completely. Luli took out the wicked bead and put Bones of Tortoise in. He threw Bones of Tortoise to Kamang and told him to restrain Bones of Tortoise with a demon trapping chains. Okay now, Luli was relieved that Bones of Tortoise was under control. He turned to Patriarch of Law Enforcement and said, "Great-Grandpa, do it. Take all that you can and kill all that you cannot. Surrender, and we will spare your lives." Elder of the Law Enforcement roared in rage. The black iron staff in his hand carried a thick, murderous aura as it swept out. Fox Maiden, who was nearby, bore the brunt of the blow. Half of her body became a bloody mess, and she died instantly. Roar, roar, charge! Swish, swish! The remaining beast gods bellowed. Surrender? There was no such word among Palea beasts. Palea beasts were proud. 2 million years ago, they were the overlords of the world. Back then, humans were their food and slaves. Surrendering to slaves? They would rather die a heroic death. Go to hell. Luli did not hesitate. He released the Feather Wind Castle, but did not cover a large area in case Patriarch of Law Enforcement would be disturbed. Ao Ding was badly injured. The remaining beast gods were not a threat. Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement could finish them off easily. Luli's Feather Wind Castle enveloped 7 or 8 beast gods. In the time for half an incense stick to burn, the Feather Wind Castle disappeared. For the 7 or 8 beast gods fell to the ground as corpses. Luli took down the remaining 3. Bang! Patriarch of Law Enforcement was furious. He had a 9th rank mystic armor. The average beast gods could not hurt him. His dark power Upanishad was terrifying. Before his stick hit, the dark elements had already spread out. The enemies who got attacked would have their vision turn black. Their souls would be shrouded in darkness. Of course, their fighting power would be weakened. In the time for 2 incense sticks to burn, the more than 30 beast gods were all taken down or killed. Luli had 8 beast gods in human form in the wicked bead. He could have taken down more beast gods. However, they were in their original forms, and the wicked bead could not accommodate them. Origin Blood Essence. When all the beast gods were taken care of, Luli did not go into the wicked bead to interrogate Bones of Tortoise. Instead, he looked at Ao Ding, who had fainted on the ground. Luli's eyes were filled with excitement, as if that huge silver dragon was the most delicious food in the world. Chapter 962. Great-Grandpa, how do I take out the Origin Blood Essence? How do I preserve it? Luli did not have to consume the Origin Blood Essence right away. That would take time. They must crack the formation at once. Otherwise, when the masters of the other races came, they would be in big trouble. That's easy. I will help you. Patriarch of Law Enforcement took out a sharp dagger and dashed forward, stabbing Ao Ding's head with it. The dagger was a quasi-relic as well, and was sharp. However, Patriarch of Law Enforcement could only stab halfway in. The 9-clawed silver dragon was too strong. Bang! Patriarch of Law Enforcement's other hand glowed in a dark light as he punched at Ao Ding's head. After Ao Ding's head was smashed, Patriarch of Law Enforcement moved on with the dagger. Naturally, Ao Ding's defense was weakened after his death. Patriarch of Law Enforcement took out the beast core and then cut off the dragon's horn and golden claw. In the end, he cut open the dragon's abdomen and took out a huge heart. Buzzing, Patriarch of Law Enforcement took out a jade box and put the huge heart in. Then he explained to Luli there's an inhibition formation in the jade box. The spiritual chi inside will not leak out. You can consume it whenever you want. Luli put away the jade box and went back to the wicked bee by himself. Patriarch of Law Enforcement continued to collect mystical materials. There were many rare mystical materials on the beast gods. As soon as Luli entered the wicked bead, he noticed bones of tortoise at once. He began to build a soul seal. Safety first. He wanted to turn bones of tortoise into his soul slave. In this way, it would be easier to crack the formation. Bones of tortoise was unconscious. Luli sent the soul seed into bones of tortoise's soul. An hour later, the soul seed took root and sprouted. It's done. Luli was relieved that bones of tortoise and Luli had a spiritual connection. After a moment of rest, Luli woke bones of tortoise up. Out of instinct, bones of tortoise wanted to take action. However, a surge of energy came from his soul. Bones of tortoise was naturally in awe of Luli. Master! After a moment, bones of tortoise stood up and bowed to Luli. Luli nodded. How do I crack the formation? Can I close it now? I want to go. Sure. Bones of tortoise nodded. Luli let him out at once. Patriarch of Law Enforcement had finished the collection. Bones of tortoise led Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement forward. Dozens of miles later, Bones of tortoise stopped and took out some shells. Buzz. The mysterious patterns on the shell lit up and released an inexplicable aura. Tortoise bone threw the shell out, and the space around it began to fluctuate. The fluctuations grew stronger and stronger, and it felt as if the space in front of him was about to distort. All right. After a while, the space calmed down. Bones of tortoise bowed to Luli and said, Master, we can go out now. Go. Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement flew forward at once. This time, they did not take a detour. They reached the mountains in the distance and flew out. He's out. He's finally out. Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement looked at each other with smiles on their faces. The law enforcement elder felt a little guilty. After all, he had accidentally entered the divine array and almost caused the two of them to be trapped inside. So many beasts. Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement gazed into the distance. Their mouths twitched when they saw so many beasts that they could not see the end. That being said, for them, it would not matter even if there were 10 times more beasts. Great-grandpa, let's stop here. Let's go. Luli turned to Patriarch of Law Enforcement, who nodded in agreement. The energy of a beast god spread out from Luli. The beasts that were itching to make a move stopped. Whoosh! Luli put Patriarch of Law Enforcement into the wicked bead and flew away with Bones of Tortoise. Along the way, all the beasts were restrained and did not dare to attack. After all, they did not know that Luli was the human they were trying to kill and that Bones of Tortoise was a beast god. Luli left the area easily. He looked at Bones of Tortoise and asked, Are there any good hiding places nearby? Bones of Tortoise thought about it and said, About 300,000 miles to the northwest, there is a secluded valley. But the shadow bats will find you soon. If the shadow bats want to track a person, they can find you easily unless you are not in the Paleobeast realm. Those transparent bats? Luli remembered the 3 bats he encountered. He did not pay too much attention to them. He could find a place to hide and then go into the wicked bead. The shadow bats would not be able to find him. Luli was fast, and so was Bones of Tortoise. They flew along while checking with psychic power to avoid the beasts nearby. Since there was going to be a war, many beasts nearby had fled. Luli's journey was smooth. An hour later, Luli arrived at the valley mentioned by Bones of Tortoise. It was a secluded place. There were some low-level beasts here that were not intelligent. Luli did not have to worry about them. Buzzing, Luli brought Bones of Tortoise into the wicked bead. The wicked bead glowed and flew to a corner. Soon, the wicked bead turned into an average pebble. Some of the beast gods had woken up, but were restrained by the demon trapping chains. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was in there. The few beast gods that had woken up were severely injured by Patriarch of Law Enforcement to prevent them from acting rashly. What about the beast gods? At first, Luli was afraid that he would not be able to come out, so he captured some beast gods. Now that he was out, those beast gods were not of much use. He could not take more soul slaves. Kill them. Patriarch of Law Enforcement said coldly. Luli nodded. Patriarch of Law Enforcement did it himself. He took out his iron rod and smashed the beast gods to death. Then he put the corpses into his interspatial ring. Master, don't kill me. Bones of Tortoise was terrified. He knelt on the ground and begged. Master, I am absolutely loyal to you. I know everything about the Paleobeast realm. Okay, Luli did not want to kill Bones of Tortoise. That formation was impressive, and he wanted to make use of it. After a while, Luli asked, do you know anything about Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Ghostface Spider? Have they reached the realm of mythical beasts? Master of Silver Dragon? Bones of Tortoise was in awe. Then he said with certainty, Master of Silver Dragon is definitely at the realm of mythical beasts. As for Master of Ghostface Spider, I'm not sure. Master of Ghostface Spider has been cultivating for hundreds of years. Also, it is said that Master of Fairy Fox has learned the 3rd level of enchantment and has reached the realm of mythical beasts. But we cannot tell if it is true or not. The 3rd level of enchantment? Luli was taken aback. He knew the enchantment too well. The 1st level could enchant people, the 2nd level could enchant the world, and the 3rd level could control immortals and demons. If Luli could reach the 3rd level, then it would be a lot of fun. Master of Silver Dragon. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was thinking about Master of Silver Dragon. Ao Ding's defense was already so strong. Master of Silver Dragon had reached the realm of mythical beasts. Could Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Luli break through Master of Silver Dragon's defense? P.S. Happy New Year's Eve. I will not update today. Take a day off. Also, there is a poll on the official WeChat account for the King of Online Literature. Go and vote for Yao Yi. You can check the history of the poll. You can vote every day. In the first lunar month, there would be a lucky draw on WeChat. The prizes included iPhone 7, a cup with the image of the Eternal Dragon Emperor, a signed book by Yao Yi, and so on. Chapter 963. After a moment of silence, Luli put aside the matter of Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Silver Dragon. He asked another question. You have sent out a message for help. How soon can Master of Silver Dragon get here? I can't say for sure. Bones of Tortoise shook his head. Master of Silver Dragon, Master of Blood Ape, and Master of Ten-Winged Wolf are closer to us. They are fast. I think they can get here in a couple of days. The others will take 10 to half a month. Okay. Luli turned to Patriarch of Law Enforcement and said, Great-Grandpa, let's not worry about the beasts now. It is not easy to find the wicked bead. The shadow bats cannot find us. Master of Silver Dragon will have to mobilize many beasts to search for us. I think it will take them at least a month to find us. I will consume the origin blood essence and cultivate for a while. We will talk about it when they find us. The wicked bead is not that easy to crack. Okay. Patriarch of Law Enforcement nodded. Since Luli was so confident, Patriarch of Law Enforcement would not ask more questions. Luli asked Bones of Tortoise, if they find the wicked bead, can they build a formation like the one just now to trap us? Absolutely not. Bones of Tortoise said with certainty, the divinity is a natural formation. It cannot be built, not even by me. What is more, few beasts know about inhibition formations. Our kind is the best, second to none. Okay, Luli sent Bones of Tortoise to the outer hall and then told him to kill the 3 beast kings outside. They were of no use. After all, she was a beast god. What if she could be useful? I will consume the origin blood essence first. Do not touch me under any circumstances. I will be fine. Luli told Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Komang. Then he added, if I cannot stand it, Great-Grandpa, please use your force field to contain me. Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Komang nodded. Luli took out the J-box. The huge heart inside emitted a surge of beast energy, a strong smell of blood, and a surge of mysterious energy. Well, Luli could sense the origin blood essence in the heart. He trembled. His blood was boiling. The silver dragon mark glowed, and his eyes turned red. Hoi! Luli tore the heart open. He took out 2 drops of silver red blood and swallowed them. Then, he sat on the ground with his legs crossed. Chi, Chi. As soon as the 2 drops of origin blood essence entered Lu Li's body, 2 strands of heat spread across his body. Then, Lu Li felt he was on fire. Once again, he felt like he was being burned. Moreover, the origin blood essence this time seemed to be even more domineering. Lu Li didn't know if it was because it was 2 drops of beast god's blood this time, or because the blood was fresh, but Lu Li felt particularly painful. He felt that every muscle and every bone in his body was burning. The pain was indescribable. It felt like his soul was being pricked by millions of golden needles. Lu Li couldn't take it anymore. Although his ability to endure pain was very strong, he was still rolling on the ground with a hideous look on his face. Leah, Saint Lord, Patriarch of Law Enforcement, and Kumang were taken aback. Out of instinct, Kumang wanted to rush toward Lu Li. Patriarch of Law Enforcement, on the other hand, was steadier. Remembering Lu Li's words, he shouted, "Don't move." Patriarch of Law Enforcement used psychic power to check Lu Li. After 3 rounds, Patriarch of Law Enforcement released force field to suppress Lu Li. Noticing that Kumang was looking at Lu Li with worry, Patriarch of Law Enforcement explained, "It's okay. The 2 drops of origin blood essence are strengthening his body. It's just that it is a bit domineering when it is released at once. He'll be fine." Kumang nodded, but he was still worried. Lu Li was the Saint Lord of the Shadowland race, their backer. If something were to happen to Lu Li, the ancient races would have to go to the deserted world. They would not be able to enjoy their peaceful days anymore. Lu Li could not move because of the force field. That being said, he still let out some beast-like cries of pain. His facial muscles were twisted and he was trembling. After an hour, Lu Li didn't seem to be in so much pain anymore. Patriarch of Law Enforcement did not deactivate the force field. He continued to suppress Lu Li. Another hour later, the red glow in Lu Li's eyes faded away. Patriarch of Law Enforcement finally deactivated the force field. Phew. Lu Li lay on the ground like a dead fish. He closed his eyes and breathed heavily. He did not do anything. He just lay there like that. Another hour later, he opened his eyes weakly. He looked at Patriarch of Law Enforcement and nodded. Then he passed out. The origin blood essence of the silver dragon is powerful. It is still transforming Liur's body. Patriarch of Law Enforcement checked with psychic power. There was still some strange energy in Lu Li's body. Black liquid was being discharged from Lu Li's body. It meant that the origin blood essence was still transforming Lu Li's body and the impurities were being discharged. What? After the time for 3 incense sticks to burn, Patriarch of Law Enforcement suddenly shouted in surprise. Kumang looked over with confusion. He noticed that Patriarch of Law Enforcement was shocked. Kumang followed Patriarch of Law Enforcement's gaze. Soon, Kumang's pupils contracted in fear. One of Lu Li's hands suddenly had pieces of tiny silver scales. More and more were coming out. Soon, his entire hand was covered with scales. Then his arm began to grow. His robe was torn apart. Scales were growing on his other hand and legs as well. Ow. Kumang's mouth was agape. He was panicking. Lu Li was a pure-blooded human being. How could he have mutated? Was he going to become a silver dragon after consuming the origin blood essence of the silver dragon? Even though the ancient races were hybrids between humans and beasts, all the ancient races in the Heaven Reverse universe believed that Lu Li was a human being, a special human being at best. They never thought of themselves as beasts. In the Heaven Reverse universe, beasts were the lowest beings. They were highly intelligent. How could they be the same as beasts? Bang, bang, bang. Lu Li's robe was torn apart. In the end, he was covered in white scales. Luckily, there were no scales on his face. Otherwise, Lu Li would have become a living silver dragon. That being said, Kumang took a closer look. The scales on Lu Li's body were beautiful. The ones on his shoulders and waist were fancy. Looking from afar, it was as if Lu Li had put on a gorgeous silver armor, majestic and domineering. Dragon armor? Is this a new bloodline skill? Patriarch of Law Enforcement remembered what Lu Li said. Luli said he had several bloodline skills. After consuming the origin blood essence of the silver dragon, new bloodline skills would be awakened. If it really is a bloodline skill, then this will be impressive. Patriarch of Law Enforcement remembered how strong Ao Ding was. If the dragon armor could be as strong as Ao Ding, then Lu Li's dragon armor would be no weaker than his 9th rank mystic armor. There is only one bloodline skill? How come Lu Li has several bloodline skills? Strange. Chapter 964. Lu Li slept for a day and a night before he woke up. The scales on him had disappeared into his body in half an hour. His appearance was back to normal. Kamang breathed a sigh of relief. Lu Li did not open his eyes when he woke up. Instead, he tried to sense the changes in his body. He was satisfied with the result. The origin blood essence of the 9-clawed silver dragon was powerful and domineering. Lu Li's physical strength was enhanced. His physical strength alone was enough to withstand attacks from warriors at the peak of the human sovereign realm. Physical strength was not the priority. The priority was the addition of a bloodline skill. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was right. The name of the new bloodline skill was Dragon Armor. When Lu Li passed out, the dragon armor appeared automatically. But it was not a complete dragon armor. There was a complete dragon armor and a helmet. As for the defense, Lu Li did not know yet. Lu Li sorted through the new information in his mind. He rested for a while and opened his eyes. A trace of awkwardness appeared on his face because his robes had all exploded and the blanket covering his body was given to him by the law enforcement elder. "You are awake?" Patriarch of Law Enforcement had been paying attention to Lu Li. His eyes were filled with kindness. After reaching the semi-god realm, Patriarch of Law Enforcement was becoming more and more humane. He was growing fonder of his great-grandson. "Great-grandpa, I am fine. I just awakened a bloodline skill yesterday." Lu Li forced a smile. Then, he felt embarrassed. Patriarch of Law Enforcement turned around with a smile. Kamang came back to his senses and turned around as well. Lu Li put on his robe and checked the outside of the wicked bead with psychic power. It was quiet outside. Master Silver Dragon would not be able to find him anytime soon. Should I try the dragon armor's defense? Lu Li thought about it and said to Patriarch of Law Enforcement, "Great-grandpa, attack me several times and gradually increase the power. I want to see how strong the dragon armor is." Okay. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was curious about this as well. Lu Li asked Kamang to stand behind Patriarch of Law Enforcement. With a silver glare, Lu Li's robe was torn apart. Silver scales grew out all over his body, and a silver helmet appeared on his head. What? Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Kamang took a look. The dragon armor was different from yesterday. Yesterday, Lu Li looked more like a dragon man with scales, but today his scales looked different. The dragon scales converged into a beautiful pattern, and many places became tangible. The chest armor, shoulders, arms, waist, and knees all changed. To Elder of Enforcement and Kamang, it was just a beautiful set of silver armor. It was impossible to associate it with dragon scales. Noticing the astonishment in Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Kamang's eyes, Lu Li said with a smile, "I can control the dragon scale at will. That is to say, I can make it do whatever I want. Come on, great-grandpa, attack." Lu Li stood in the middle of the hall, wearing the dragon armor. He was 1.8 meters tall, with broad shoulders, a narrow waist, and long legs. He was not particularly handsome, but he had his own charm. At this moment, he was wearing a gorgeous and domineering battle armor, which made him look even more handsome and extraordinary. Patriarch of Law Enforcement took out a black iron rod. Without using Xian energy, he smashed at Lu Li's shoulder. Bang! With a muffled sound, Lu Li trembled, but he didn't step back. Instead, the iron rod bounced back. "Great-grandpa, I am not that weak. Do it harder." Lu Li grinned. Patriarch of Law Enforcement's attack might have some pressure on average human sovereign realm warriors. But Lu Li's body was as strong as that of an Earth immortal realm warrior. Okay, Patriarch of Law Enforcement's hand glowed with Xian energy. The iron rod glowed in a dark light as he smashed at Lu Li's shoulder. Patriarch of Law Enforcement did not use profound meaning. That being said, a semi-god realm warrior's move could level a hill. An average Earth immortal realm warrior would be injured, if not killed. Bang! Lu Li trembled. This time, he could not stand it anymore. The force was so strong that he had to take 7 or 8 steps back. But he didn't feel any harm. Before the horrifying force could reach him, it had been neutralized by the dragon armor. This is good. Lu Li grinned. He dashed over and shouted to Patriarch of Law Enforcement, "Great Grandpa, do it harder. The dragon armor is strong." Even though Patriarch of Law Enforcement had expected this, he was still surprised. Just now, Patriarch of Law Enforcement didn't use profound meaning, but he had used 80% of his strength. How strong was a semi-god realm warrior? The rod in his hand was a quasi-relic. Whoosh! Patriarch of Law Enforcement didn't hold back. This time, he used all of his strength. He poured in Xian energy and used the quasi-relic rod to increase his strength. The black iron rod smashed at Lu Li with tremendous force. Boom! This time, Lu Li was smashed away. He smashed into the wall and then bounced back. He rolled on the ground. Gritting his teeth, Lu Li crawled back up. His eyes were filled with joy. He moved his shoulders and said, "Great Grandpa, this is 10% of your strength, right? I think it is as strong as a 9th rank mystic armor." Patriarch of Law Enforcement nodded. Not even an average Earth immortal realm warrior could stand that move. Even though Lu Li was gritting his teeth in pain, he didn't sustain serious injuries. At the very most, his arm was hurt. His chi and blood didn't tumble, which meant that his internal organs weren't injured. Even if Lu Renhuang were to use the 9th rank mystic armor, he would still be slightly injured. Therefore, Lu Li's dragon armor was as strong as a 9th rank mystic armor. That was to say, Lu Li's bloodline skill was comparable to an 8th rank bloodline. As a disciple of the Lu family, why didn't Lu Li awaken the King Kong bloodline? Instead, he awakened a strange bloodline that could keep on awakening new bloodline skills. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was confused, but he couldn't ask since Kamang was here. He asked with hesitation, "Should I use profound meaning to attack?" If Lu Li were to use profound meaning, it would be the strength of a semi-god realm warrior. Lu Li would be injured for sure, or even be seriously injured. Therefore, Patriarch of Law Enforcement was hesitating. Come on. Lu Li was filled with the will to fight. A silver glare rose in his eyes as he released the burning blood skill to strengthen his body. He shouted, "Come on, Great Grandpa. I can handle it." Swish, swish, Patriarch of Law Enforcement began to gather dark elements. Kamang stood behind him, holding his breath. A semi-god realm warrior using a 9th rank profound meaning. If it were him, there wouldn't be anything left of him. Patriarch of Law Enforcement didn't gather too many dark elements. He only used 70% of his strength. He smashed at Lu Li with the iron rod surrounded by dark air. Bang! Lu Li was smashed away. Blood spilled out from his mouth in midair. The dragon scales on his shoulder were broken and blood was oozing out. He bounced back and rolled on the ground for a dozen times before he stopped. Half of his body was tainted with blood. Saint Lord. Chapter 965. The dragon armor was cracked, but it had withstood most of the impact. Lu Li's body was strong, and he had used the burning blood skill to strengthen his body. Therefore, even though half of his body was covered in blood, Lu Li was not seriously injured. Lu Li said nothing. He sat on the ground, took some healing pellets, and began to tend to his wounds. His physical body was so strong that his recovery ability was very strong. In just half a day, he had almost recovered. This trip to the Paleobeast realm has been worthwhile. Lu Li exclaimed. Defense had always been his weakness. If it were not for the wicked bead, he would have lost his life many times over. The wicked bead was strong, but he would not be able to attack when he was in the wicked bead. The wicked bead was like a turtle shell. He could hide in it when he could no longer stand the attacks. But the dragon armor was the real defense. I wonder if I can get some more silver dragon blood. Can I awaken another bloodline skill? Luli was excited. The bloodline skills he awakened were getting stronger and stronger. If he could awaken another one, it would be incredible. Thoughts aside, this was not the time to go out. He did not know how many mythical beasts were in the Paleobeast realm. Luli decided to cultivate here for a while. He would study the third diagram first, and then try to reach the Earth Immortal realm. Then, he would look for the exit and see if he could kill 1 or 2 nine-clawed silver dragons. Luli informed Patriarch of Law Enforcement and began to study the line diagram. The beasts might find the wicked bead at any moment. He must seize the opportunity to cultivate while he had nothing to do. Luli had studied 10 components of the third diagram, leaving only 5 to go. He immersed himself in them and tried to deduce and study. Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Kumang were cultivating as well. Cultivation was not meaningful at this time. That being said, there was nothing to do in the wicked bead. He might as well cultivate. While Lu Li and the others were cultivating quietly, the outside world was in chaos. The formation was closed so the Beast Kings could go in. The beasts were frightened to see the dead bodies on the ground. Only now did they realize that the one with bones of tortoise was a human. So many beast deities had died, and some beast deities had gone missing. When the tribe leaders of the various clans arrived, what kind of thunderous rage would they unleash? However, the Beast Kings did not dare to leave. They could only send a message to the major tribes in the Paleobeast realm through special means. There was no need for them to send a message. The various tribal kings had already received the news. The Silver Dragon King, the Blood Ape King, and the Quiet Wolf King were the closest to this place. In just 6 days, the Quiet Wolf King was the first to arrive. The 10-winged spirit wolf's forte was speed. He brought a beast deity with him. Both of them were dressed in black robes, and their faces were as black as water. The Quiet Wolf King was especially furious when he saw the corpse of a beast god from the Quiet Wolf tribe. The enforcement elder dissected all the corpses of the beast gods and collected all the spiritual ingredients. The spirit wolf race's beast god was in a miserable state. Its inner core had been dug out, and all 10 of its wings had been cut off. Whoa, the spirit wolf king raised its head and roared. It looked at the many beast emperors in the distance and said angrily, "What are you all standing there for? What are you waiting for? When I find those 2 humans, this king will tear them apart." The beast kings left in fear. Then, all the beasts outside were mobilized to search for Lu Li all over the mountains and plains. The Shadowbat clan had a few dozen clansmen in the vicinity, and they were also mobilized to search everywhere. A day later, the Master of Silver Dragon arrived with 7 or 8 beast gods. He gave an order to mobilize all the beasts in the Paleobeast realm to search for Lu Li and the others. The Master of Silver Dragon and the Quiet Wolf King did not leave the basin. They were waiting for the Master of Blood Ape. The Blood Apes had the third eye. They could see what happened in the basin. They could know what kind of powerful human warriors were invading the Paleobeast realm. More than half a day later, the Blood Ape King arrived with 5 beast gods. The Blood Ape King released his heaven's eye at the first moment and investigated everything that happened in the Divine Formation Valley. 2 humans. The Master of Silver Dragon was old. His hair was white, and he was hunched. His beard was drooping, and he looked lethargic. A glint of anger rose in his eyes when he received the report. He is only at the semi-god realm. How dare he come to the Paleobeast realm? And he has just reached the semi-god realm? But that bead is interesting. Is it a relic? Send a message to the Shadow Bats. Tell them to mobilize their entire species to search for the 2 humans. If they cannot be found, I will wipe out their entire species. The Master of Silver Dragon waved his hand. Another beast god of the Silver Dragon race left to send a message. After a while, the Master of Silver Dragon said, "Send a message to all the beasts. I will reward anyone who can find the 2 humans." The Master of Silver Dragon's order was delivered to the entire Paleobeast realm through a special means of communication. As the absolute leader of the Paleobeasts, the Master of Silver Dragon's order was like an imperial edict. The entire Paleobeast realm was mobilized. All the shadow bats were mobilized to search for Lu Li and the others. Outside the Divine Formation Valley, another 10 million beasts gathered. These 10 million beasts rushed over and began a carpet search with the Divine Formation Valley as the center. The valley where Lu Li was hiding was soon discovered. However, it was only some 6th-rank beasts that were searching. They were intelligent, but they did not have psychic power. Therefore, the wicked bead lying in a corner was ignored. Beasts continued to search the area, and a few shadow bats passed by as well. However, when Lu Li and the others entered the wicked bead, there was no sign of humans. There was no energy fluctuation in the wicked bead. Not even the shadow bats could detect it. More and more beasts passed by. Maybe the ones in front of them had already searched, or maybe the beasts were just looking for humans. Therefore, none of the beasts noticed the wicked bead. Time moved on. The masters of the 7 major beasts came and gathered outside the basin. Many beasts were mobilized, and the shadow bats were mobilized. However, it had been half a month since they received any news. The master of Silver Dragon even mobilized a strange beast race. That beast race had a parent body and subsidiary body. The parent body could control many subsidiary bodies to fly around. The parent body and subsidiary bodies could communicate telepathically. In this way, the transmission of information was fast. Therefore, when this species was mobilized, any situation in the Paleobeast realm could be transmitted to them quickly. Another half a month passed, and Lu Li was nowhere to be found. The master of Silver Dragon flew into a rage. He killed the master of the Shadow Bats that came to report. Master Blood Ape, thank you. The master of Silver Dragon could no longer sit still. He turned to the master of Blood Ape. All blood apes could open the third eye when they reached the Beast King realm. That being said, using the third eye constantly would consume a lot of energy. The master of Silver Dragon had no other choice. He told the blood apes to use the third eye to track down Lu Li's escape route and eventually found him. Master of Silver Dragon, you are welcome. 16 of my kind was killed. We must avenge him. Chapter 966. The clairvoyant eye of the blood apes was a strange skill, but it was of little value. It could not be used to attack and could only see what happened in the past. The blood apes took action. Master of Blood Ape saw Lu Li flying to the north, so the blood apes began to search from the north. Every 3 miles, they would continue to search. In this way, they could trace Lu Li's route. The result was good. Though many of the blood apes were weakened, they could still move closer to the valley. After 12 days, they finally found the valley and the wicked bead hidden in a corner. Found it. A beast god of the blood apes shouted in delight. But he did not attack at once. Instead, he signaled to the beast kings of the blood apes to rush toward the valley. In less than an hour, Master of Silver Dragon and the others arrived. Masters of the 7 major beasts had gathered with a group of beast gods. There were also more than a dozen powerful ones. Outside the valley, there were over 200 beast gods. All of them were in the shape of humans. They were so intimidating that the beasts nearby did not even dare to breathe. They had to lie on the ground. Master of Silver Dragon, Master of Blood Ape looked at the wicked bead and asked, "How about we build a formation to stop them from running away? That pearl's defensive power is terrifying." A pretty lady next to Master of Silver Dragon smiled, which attracted many beasts' attention. This lady was as beautiful as Ji Mengtian. She was in a white dress. There was not a trace of flirtatiousness about her, but just by standing there quietly, she was like a dazzling pearl that could attract all the beasts' attention. She rolled her eyes at Master of Blood Ape. Her casual flirtatiousness and charm made Master of Blood Ape tremble. He felt something down there. The lady said with a smile, "Master of Blood Ape, you have overestimated those 2 humans. Masters of the 7 major beasts are here, including Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Ghostface Spider. Do you think those 2 humans can run away?" Another brown-haired elder echoed, "Master of Fairy Fox is right. Both Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Ghostface Spider are here." Even 10 semi-god realm cultivators will die here today, let alone one who has just broken through. The Silver Dragon King was expressionless. The ghost-faced Spider King was covered in a black robe, and his tattooed face was very scary. He said coldly, "Cut the crap and attack. Keep that human in the divine transformation realm for me. I need to nourish myself." The Silver Dragon King waved his hand, and all the beast gods stood in a circle. The Silver Dragon King, Ghost-faced Spider King, and the other 6 stood in a corner. They did not make a move, only sending out some beast gods to attack. "Do it!" The 10-winged wolf master was short-tempered. He bellowed. Many beast gods took action at the same time. The beast gods dashed toward the wicked bead. Boom, 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 the gorge suffered a calamity. The mountain split open, boulders flew everywhere, and mud flew everywhere. The canyon was not big to begin with. Now that it had been flattened, it became a huge crater. Amidst the dust, many people were staring at a bead floating above the crater. The Silver Dragon King, Fairy Fox, and Ghost-faced Spider King were taken aback. Then they became excited. They had learned from Master of Blood Ape that the wicked bead was strong in defense. However, the wicked bead did not explode under the joint attack of more than 200 beast gods. It didn't even budge. This was a strange scene that shocked them. Relic! This must be a relic. At this moment, the old and lethargic Silver Dragon King seemed several hundred years younger. His wrinkled face glowed with radiance. If they could get their hands on this relic, the 9-clawed silver dragon's status in the Paleobeast would be unshakable. The silver dragons could enjoy glory for generations to come. Keep going. The Silver Dragon King could not wait any longer. The more than 200 beast gods launched long-range attacks, trying to blast the bead open after several rounds of attacks. Clearly, they were overthinking things. The Silver Dragon King and the others did not take action. The 200 beast gods were merely 200 Earth Immortal Realm warriors. If 200 Earth Immortal Realm warriors could blast open the wicked bead, it would have been cracked back at the Central Imperial Universe. The wicked bead's energy was running low. At the very least, it was only 30% full. However, over the years, the bead had been absorbing energy from heaven and earth to replenish itself. The energy in the bead had reached 70%. The Earth Immortal Realm warriors would have to spend decades to crack open the bead. Are they here? The wicked bead was under constant attack. Lu Li, who was cultivating inside, could sense it. He didn't open his eyes. He just used the wicked bead to check. Seeing that it was only 200 Earth Immortal Realm warriors, he stopped worrying and resumed his cultivation. Lu Li had been cultivating in the wicked bead for over a month. He only had one small piece of the third line diagram left. Therefore, even if the Silver Dragon King and the others were attacking now, Lu Li would not mind. The Paleobeasts only had 2 or 3 semi-god realm warriors. They could survive for years. Lu Li continued to cultivate while the attacks continued. The valley was no longer there. It used to be a pit, but now it had turned into an abyss. The wicked bead was only the size of a thumb. Floating in the air, it would give out a faint cyan glow when under attack. But no matter what, the wicked bead would not move one bit. Half a day had passed. 1 day had passed. 1.5 days had passed. The bad-tempered family patriarchs could not wait any longer. They joined the fight. Even Master of 10-Winged Wolf, Master of Blood Ape, and Master of Heichi, one of the 7 major beasts, joined the fight. Some of the beast gods transformed into their original forms and used their special skills. Their attacks were several times stronger. However, the wicked bead was still floating in the air, motionless. Every now and then, the wicked bead would give out a cyan glow. It was as if an eye was blinking at them, mocking the overlords of the Paleobeast realm in silence. Neither Master of Silver Dragon, Master of Ghost-faced Spider, nor Master of Fairy Fox moved. Master of Fairy Fox was not good at physical attacks. But Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Ghost-faced Spider knew very well that the 2 of them were not enough. If the 200 beast gods could not crack the bead, then they would not be able to do anything. Go on. Master of Ghostface Spider put on a hideous grin and said coldly, "Do not stop even if you have to do it for a year. When the bead is cracked, Master of Silver Dragon will reward you handsomely." "Yes, Master of Silver Dragon will reward you handsomely. Let's work harder." Master of Fairy Fox understood. After all, they could not win against Master of Silver Dragon. The bead would be his, and the reward would be his. Therefore, she joined in the uproar. Master of Silver Dragon kept a straight face, but he made his stance clear. "Crack the bead, and I will allow you to cultivate in the Pond of Dragons for 100 years. Pond of Dragons. The beasts were excited. The Pond of Dragons was the most treasured place in the Paleo-Beast realm. It was said that cultivating in the Pond of Dragons could double the chances of reaching the mythical realm. All the beast gods' attacks were strengthened. It would be worthwhile for them to enter the Pond of Dragons for 10 years, let alone 1 year. P.S. I recommend a book by the Legend of the Paladin. The title of the book is Cultivator's Chat Group. It is very interesting and hilarious. Chapter 967. Finally, several days later, Luli finally finished the last small diagram. He had finished the third one. Engrave it into the bead of life. Luli did not stop for a moment. He engraved the third diagram into the bead of life and used divine energy to enhance the diagram. In this way, the profound meaning would be complete. Based on his previous experience, this time, Luli's progress was smooth. In an hour, he had engraved the line diagram. However, when he was mobilizing divine energy, Luli noticed one thing. He did not have much divine energy left. Last time at the demon-slaying city, he touched heaven and earth and was bestowed with divine energy. But some of it was absorbed by his body. Later, when he made 2 more diagrams, some divine energy was lost. Therefore, he did not have much divine energy left. At best, I can make up to 3 more diagrams. If I am slow and use too much divine energy, then 3 diagrams will not be enough. Luli nodded to himself. When all the diagrams glowed, Luli seemed to have expected this. As expected, the third profoundness was also a wind-type profoundness. This line diagram should be filled with wind-type profoundness. There are 12 diagrams, 12 profound meanings of wind. Luli had a question. When he learned all the 12 profound meanings of wind, would that mean he had learned all the profound meanings of wind? Could he integrate them into a super profound meaning of wind? Killing fundamental principle? When I learn all the 12 profound meanings of wind, will I have learned the fundamental principle of wind? A question popped up in Luli's mind. However, nobody could teach him about it. Unless the Emperor of Heaven Reverse generated an avatar, nobody could help him. Wind Wisp. As a matter of fact, Luli was disappointed with this profound meaning. This profound meaning could only entangle people with wind. Luli's Feather Wind Castle was designed to trap people. This profound meaning was not of much use. If the Feather Wind Castle could not trap people, the Wind Wisp would not help either. Luli had hoped for an offensive profound meaning. The greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. Hundreds of beast gods were attacking him. Luli did not have the time to study the 4th line diagram. He could not reach the Earth Immortal Realm anytime soon. Luli sat with his legs crossed for half a day. Is there a situation? As soon as Luli woke up, Patriarch of Law Enforcement woke up as well. Noticing that Luli was a bit upset, Patriarch of Law Enforcement asked again, "Is it bad?" "That's not it." Luli forced a smile and said, "I only learned one profound meaning. It is not very powerful. I am just disappointed." Hee hee. The enforcement elder comforted him. Don't look down on some profounds. Although they don't seem powerful, when you want to fuse with them, you can't do it without them. In order to break through to the Earth-level deity realm, one must comprehend or integrate an 8th rank profound meaning. In the case of the Soul Formation realm, one must comprehend or integrate a 9th rank profound meaning. As for comprehending it, it's too difficult, so it's better to fuse it. Yes, I understand, great-grandfather. Luli was gifted with intelligence. He figured it out soon. It was mainly because he had been progressing too fast. Every time he had an epiphany, his strength would improve by leaps and bounds. His mentality was a little too hasty. After all, he was only in his 20s and had plenty of time. Luli used psychic power to check. There were more than 200 beast gods, and one of them was attacking. The masters had been attacking for days, but they still could not break the barrier. They had stopped. Luli told Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Kumeng about the situation outside. Then, he added with a frown, I have checked Master of Silver Dragon, Master of Ghostface Spider, and Master of Fairy Fox. I cannot tell how powerful they are. The other masters are still at the Beast God realm. Those three might have reached the mythical beast realm. This is troublesome. If it were just one mythical beast god realm, Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement would not worry. The Dragon Demon and Patriarch of Law Enforcement could kill it easily. However, there were three at the mythical beast god realm. Luli was not so sure. Beast gods of the mythical beast god realm were much more powerful than average semi-god realm warriors. They had their own special skills. The Silver Dragon race's defense must be exceptional. If Master of Fairy Fox's enchantment had reached the 3rd level, enchantment, then it would be a disaster. Patriarch of Law Enforcement had just reached the semi-god realm. He would not be able to stand it. Luli had a silver dragon mark in his soul pond. So far, he could withstand all the soul attacks. But could he stand the 3rd level of enchantment? Luli was not sure. If he and Patriarch of Law Enforcement went out, their souls would be affected. By then, they would not be killed in an instant, but captured alive. If they were turned into slaves, then not only Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement, but also the entire human race of the Heaven Reverse universe would be doomed. 3 mythical beasts. Patriarch of Law Enforcement's eyebrows were knitted together. He was troubled. His biggest concern was Master of Fairy Fox. Patriarch of Law Enforcement had the 9th rank mystic armor, but his soul was not strong. Should I fly the wicked bead away? If we can get rid of those beast gods, we can find a passageway to the purgatory of primordial chaos. If we can go to the purgatory of primordial chaos and then go back to the Heaven Reverse universe. Luli had acquired the origin blood essence of the 9-clawed silver dragon. Even though he wanted the origin blood essence of the Master of Silver Dragon, staying alive was more important. The wicked bead could last for decades, but the Heaven Reverse universe could not wait that long. The warriors of the 9 universes could come at any time, buzzing. Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement reached an agreement and sent Bones of Tortoise over. Luli cut to the chase. Do you know the entrance to the purgatory of primordial chaos? The purgatory of primordial chaos. Bones of Tortoise's short body shuddered, as if he had recalled something terrifying. He then replied honestly, there used to be such an entrance in our territory, but during my grandfather's generation, the silver dragons wanted to destroy the entrance, but my grandfather refused. In the end, my grandpa was killed, and the entrance to the purgatory of primordial chaos was destroyed. Such a shame. Luli sighed. What about the other entrances? How many do you know? 3. Bones of Tortoise answered with certainty. There are many entrances, but they are all destroyed. Only 3 are left. They are at the Mountain of Dragons, the Cave of Spiders, and the Forest of Foxes. But the 3 entrances are well hidden. Only powerful warriors of the 3 races know about them. The 3 entrances are sealed. I remember a powerful warrior of our race went to seal them in person, but he never came back. Are you sure that there are only 3? Luli asked, unwilling to give up. Very sure. Bones of Tortoise explained. 10,000 years ago, many races sneaked to the prison of water in the purgatory of primordial chaos. There are more mystical materials there, and it is a good place for cultivation. However, a powerful beast accidentally went to the prison of gold and was captured by warriors of the 9 universes. Back then, the Master of Silver Dragon was afraid that warriors of the 9 universes would come to the Paleobeast realm. Therefore, he ordered the other entrances to be destroyed, leaving only 3 open. But Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement looked at each other. Both felt troubled. Chapter 968. Let's go. Anyways, the priority was to break through the encirclement. The wicked bead was as fast as a semi-god realm warrior. The average beast gods could not keep up. Only the faster ones could. In this way, the over 200 beast gods could disperse and be defeated one by one. Having made up his mind, Luli told Patriarch of Law Enforcement what to do. The wicked bead suddenly enlarged and flew toward the east. Bang! Beast gods were everywhere. To fly away, the wicked bead must break through their encirclement. The beast gods were not far away, and they were fast. The wicked bead bumped into one of them. That beast god was knocked away. Luli even released Featherwind. At the same time, he said to Patriarch of Law Enforcement, "Great-grandpa, go out and do it. Then come back at once." Patriarch of Law Enforcement dashed away. The iron rod appeared in his hand. He smashed at the beast god's head, and then the wicked bead took him back. What? The Silver Dragon King, Celestial Fox King, Ghost-Faced Spider King, and the other beast kings were no longer hovering in the air. Instead, they were sitting cross-legged on a small mountain. The moment the wicked bead moved, all the masters opened their eyes in astonishment. The wicked bead had been motionless. Naturally, they could not react in time when the wicked bead suddenly moved. When the wicked bead knocked away a beast god and Patriarch of Law Enforcement killed that beast god, they finally came to their senses. How dare you? The Silver Dragon King's stooped body suddenly straightened. His old face was filled with rage. His angry appearance frightened the few beast gods at the side. Master of Silver Dragon was old, but his strength, majesty, and dominance had been engraved in the hearts of all the beast gods. None of the beast gods dared to belittle this old man. His authority was built on the dead bodies of many beast gods. Whoosh, 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 Master of Silver Dragon, Ghost-Faced Spider, Fairy Fox, Blood Ape, Tin-Winged Wolf, Master of Heichi, and Master of Spiritual Cheonchi all dashed over. Master of Fairy Fox shot out 2 rays of yellow light from her eyes, trying to intimidate Patriarch of Law Enforcement. However, Patriarch of Law Enforcement was too fast. He sneaked into the wicked bead immediately. Master of Fairy Fox's attack missed its target. The wicked bead vanished into the horizon in a blur. What? Go after him. How dare you? More than 200 beast deities were in an uproar. The leaders of the 7 major beast clans had already given chase, and the rest of the beast deities did not hesitate to rush towards the east, cursing as they chased. The cooked duck was about to fly away. What was more, the wicked bead had killed a beast god right in front of them. That human's unbridled actions had infuriated the group of beast deities. Many of the beast deities roared, wanting to hack the 2 humans into pieces, turn their souls into puppets, and suppress them forever. However, they soon discovered one thing. Their speed seemed to be insufficient. After a while, they realized that they had lost sight of the wicked bead and the masters. What could they do? He had to keep going. Inside, he was wondering why the wicked bead didn't run away when it was so fast. Instead, he had been bombarded for such a long time. After chasing for tens of thousands of miles, he suddenly saw a figure in front of him. It was Master of Heichi. Master of Heichi seemed to be waiting for them. When the beast gods caught up with the wicked bead, Master of Heichi waved his hand and said, "Stop. You cannot catch up with it. We have a discussion and have decided to take you to the territory of the spiritual Cheonchi race. We will build a formation of beasts to trap the bead." Yes, the beasts took the order. Master of Heichi's hand glowed in cyan color. Then, from his body came out a cyan haze that gathered in the air. Eventually, a cyan halo emerged. Master of Heichi shouted, "Go in!" Whoosh whoosh. One by one, the beast gods dashed into the cyan halo and vanished. This was a powerful skill of the Heichi race. They could build a teleportation formation out of thin air for the beast gods to travel across the void. That was why Master of Heichi did not go after the wicked bead. He stopped to wait for the beast gods. When the last beast god went in, Master of Heichi followed. The cyan halo collapsed and vanished in the air. A group of beast gods emerged in the sky hundreds of millions of miles away, which frightened the spiritual Cheongchi race nearby. But there was a beast god of the spiritual Cheongchi race among the beast gods. As soon as the beast god showed up, he sent out a message and told all the beasts nearby to gather. That was the territory of the spiritual Cheongchi race. However, there were many other beasts affiliated to the spiritual Cheongchi race. Orders were passed down one after another, and countless beasts swarmed toward them. Get ready to build the formation of beasts, Master of Heichi ordered. Though it was the formation of beasts, this time he was going to mobilize 1,000,000 beasts. The wicked bead was so fast that only masters of the 7 major species could catch up with it. Masters of Heichi, spiritual Cheongchi, and blood ape could barely keep up with the wicked bead. Therefore, they could not attack the wicked bead. If so, it was pointless for them to go after the wicked bead. It would be difficult for Master of Silver Dragon, Ghost-Faced Spider, and Fairy Fox to crack the wicked bead in a short time. Therefore, the formation of beasts was necessary. They had traveled a good distance. It would take at least half a day for the wicked bead to arrive, which was enough time for Master of Heichi to build the formation. The beasts nearby gathered and stood in a certain formation. Master of Heichi arranged the formation in person so that the beasts would stand according to his arrangement. At the same time, he took out some cyan stones and began to build on the ground. All the powerful ones of the Heichi race knew how to build the formation of beasts, but Master of Heichi's was more powerful. 6 hours later, the number of beasts had reached 1,000,000. Master of Heichi busied himself for another 2 hours before the formation of beasts was finished. Master of Heichi stood in midair, waiting for Lu Li. Lord, the bead is only 300,000 miles away. Master of Heichi had a mother and son beast god with him. The mother beast god was a beautiful woman. She could tell where Lu Li was from the mother beast god. After a while, she said with a frown, Lord, the bead seems to be flying in a different direction. I don't think it will fly past us when it gets closer. It doesn't matter. Master of Heichi was a middle-aged man with average looks. He did not have the domineering aura of a master of a powerful species. He waved his hand and said, Master of Ghost-Faced Spider is good at profound meanings in space. He will find a way to change the bead's trajectory. She was right. After the time for 1 incense stick to burn, the woman was delighted. She reported, The bead is 30,000 miles away from us, and it is coming this way. It will arrive in the time for half an incense stick to burn. Get ready. Master of Heichi's plain face twitched. His eyebrows stood up like 2 sharp swords. He shouted in a deep voice, If anyone makes a mistake later, I will wipe out his entire clan. The 1,000,000 beasts on the ground held their breaths. They stayed on the ground and looked to the west nervously. The beasts did not know what was going on. But since Master of Heichi was here, who would dare to make a mistake? Whoosh! A moment later, a shrill noise came from the west. Then, a huge bead whooshed across the sky and arrived in the blink of an eye. Get ready. Chapter 969. Master of Heichi bellowed. The millions of beasts bellowed as well. How horrifying would it be when 1,000,000 beasts bellowed at the same time? Buzzing, space began to tremble. The horrifying energy covered an area with a radius of tens of thousands of miles. The roar was earth-shattering. If there were humans nearby, even Earth immortal realm warriors, they would be scared out of their wits. Many cyan stones around the millions of beasts glowed. The cyan glow enveloped the millions of beasts. Their eyes glowed. They all stared at Master of Heichi in midair. Strands of cyan light were poured into Master of Heichi. Phew! Master of Heichi opened his mouth and breathed out a stream of cyan airstream that enveloped the wicked bead that was flying over. What is this? Lu Li had sensed something was wrong, but the wicked bead was moving too fast. He had just realized that he wanted to change the direction of the wicked bead when the cyan airstream had spread out and enveloped the wicked bead. What? Lu Li noticed that the wicked bead seemed to be stuck in a swamp. It was slowed down by tens of thousands of times. Lu Li was taken aback. He could not underestimate the beasts. After all, they were the overlords in the ancient times. Many of the beasts had unimaginable skills. The cyan airstream did not cover a large area, only a radius of 1,000 feet. However, Luli felt the wicked bead was moving slower and slower, like an ant. At this speed, it would take at least several hours for the wicked bead to fly out of this area. What is this? Is it a skill that seals space? Luli used psychic power to check. Soon, he shook his head. There was nothing wrong with space. It wasn't even trembling. It was the cyan airstream's doing. Time? Time. Luli was taken aback. He noticed something. Inside the cyan airstream, time seemed to be moving very slowly. In other words, the wicked bead did not slow down. It was just that time had slowed down. Naturally, the wicked bead was slowed down. Impressive. Breathing out a stream of cyan airstream could change the flow of time in a certain area. This was a marvelous skill. Even Luli, as experienced as he was amazed. Whoosh, masters of Silver Dragon, Ghost-Face Spider, and Fairy Fox came. But they did not enter the cyan airstream. The master of Silver Dragon nodded as he saw the wicked bead moving slowly. Master of Heichi, well done. Master of Heichi did not respond. He continued to breathe out the cyan airflow, expanding the coverage. Master of Silver Dragon and the others gathered together to discuss how to attack the wicked bead and how to crack it. They were not worried that the wicked bead would be destroyed. It was said that the relic had strong self-healing abilities. Unless it suffered an extremely powerful attack that directly destroyed the divine artifact, it would be able to slowly recover sooner or later. However, the cyan airstream had trapped the wicked bead. There was not much they could do. When they were inside the cyan airstream, time would slow down as well. Therefore, they could not use any powerful skills. F*CK. Luli noticed that the cyan airstream was expanding. He was troubled. No matter how hard he tried to fly the wicked bead away, the speed was limited. He retracted his will and explained the situation outside to Elder Kamang. Both of them were dumbfounded. Time Upanishad was one of the most mysterious Upanishads. How could ordinary people understand it? Tortoise bones come out. Luli sent bones of tortoise over. As soon as bones of tortoise came out, Luli slapped him away. Bones of tortoise was slapped as soon as he came out. But he was not unhappy. He walked over, knelt on the ground, and said, Master, didn't you say that bones of tortoise is the best among the beasts and formations? Luli glared at bones of tortoise and said angrily, Master of Heichi has built a formation and released cyan airstream to trap me. Master of Heichi? Cyan airstream? Bones of tortoise was taken aback. Then he explained with a forced smile, that is Master of Heichi's talent, the formation of beasts. Actually, it has nothing to do with the formation. It is because of this talent of the Heichi race. Master of Heichi gathered the beasts just to absorb the energy of the beasts to enhance his talent. Bones of tortoise felt wronged, but he did not argue. Luli snorted and asked, How can we break this talent? Do you have any ideas? No. Bones of tortoise shook his head and said, This talent is hard to break. Even if Master of Silver Dragon is enveloped by it, he will only be trapped. Of course, Master of Heichi cannot hurt Master of Silver Dragon. Apart from trapping the enemy, this talent does not do much damage. Luli was troubled. Master of Heichi could not be attacked, but there were 6 masters of beasts nearby. They would figure out a way to attack. Patriarch of Law Enforcement suddenly asked, Master of Heichi cannot keep releasing his talent, right? When he stops, the wicked bead can fly out as well. That is correct. Bones of tortoise forced a smile and said, But the cyan airstream can stay here forever. As long as it is not dispersed, we will be trapped. What is more, Master of Heichi can release it every once in a while. We will always be trapped. Boom, boom, boom. While Bones of Tortoise was talking, Master of Silver Dragon had begun to attack. He did not rush into the cyan airstream. Instead, he showed himself. The horns on his head glowed in silver light. 2 thunderbolts shot out and struck at the wicked bead directly. Inside the cyan airstream, time flowed slowly. That being said, thunderbolts were energy attacks, and they were fast. Even if they were slowed down, the thunderbolts could still hit the wicked bead. Whoosh! Master of Fairy Fox attacked as well. 2 rays of pink light shot out from her eyes. She hit the wicked bead easily. Master of Ghostface Face took action as well. Instead of using energy attacks, he spat out a ray of white light from his mouth. Following that, many strands of spider silk stuck to the wicked bead and vanished. Master of Ghostface Face's spider silk is impressive. Luli checked. Neither Master of Silver Dragon nor Master of Fairy Fox's attacks were as powerful as the spider silk. After the wicked bead was stuck to the spider silk, its energy was drained twice as fast. Master of Blood Ape and Master of Spiritual Chionchi attacked as well. Their attacks were not as powerful as the average beast gods. Boom, 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 boom. Inside the cyan airstream, the wicked bead was moving slowly. Master of Silver Dragon and the others were attacking from all sides. Master of Heichi was expanding the range of the cyan airstream. The millions of beasts on the ground were roaring and helping Master of Heichi. Master of Heichi, keep going. We cannot let the 2 humans escape this time. Master of Silver Dragon yelled. He did not know how much energy the wicked bead had, but he had made up his mind. He would crack the wicked bead, even if he had to attack for decades. He was determined to get this relic. How about I go out and use some profound meaning to see if I can crack the cyan airstream? Patriarch of Law Enforcement asked, seeing that Lu Li was in a gloomy mood. The wicked bead might not be cracked anytime soon, but they did not have much time. If they were trapped here for a few years, the Heaven Reverse Universe would be doomed. Therefore, Patriarch of Law Enforcement was ready to risk his life to get Lu Li out and back to the Heaven Reverse Universe. No hurry. Lu Li forced a smile and shook his head. They still had time. It was not that bad yet. What was more? Chapter 970. Lu Li had seen Patriarch of Law Enforcement's 9th rank profound meaning. That being said, it was no different from an average semi-god realm warrior. Therefore, Lu Li was sure that Patriarch of Law Enforcement would not be able to break the cyan airstream. Even if they had to risk their lives, it would be Lu Li who did it, because he had another card up his sleeve, the Slayer's Blood. When Lu Li consumed the Slayer's Blood, his abilities would soar. More importantly, when Lu Li consumed the Slayer's Blood, he would have a good chance to use the Slayer's move. That move was horrifying. It could even destroy an avatar of the God of Wings. Lu Li was confident that he could break the cyan airstream and kill Masters of Silver Dragon, Fairy Fox, and Ghostface Spider when he used that move. However, this was the last drop of the Slayer's Blood. Lu Li wanted to use it at the most critical moment. For example, when warriors of the 9 universes came and he could not defeat them, the Slayer's Blood could turn the tables. Therefore, Lu Li said that it was not the time to risk his life. They still had time. It would take Master of Silver Dragon and the others at least 10 years to crack the wicked bead. Lu Li decided to cultivate and reach the Earth Immortal Realm first. Also, he wanted to study the line diagram and the Slayer's move, especially the Slayer's move. If he could learn it, his abilities would be greatly enhanced. He could break the cyan airstream and kill Master of Silver Dragon. More importantly, even if Lu Li could break the cyan airstream now, it would be pointless. The 3 entrances to the purgatory of primordial chaos were in the 3 major races. If Lu Li wanted to escape to the purgatory of primordial chaos, he would have to kill Master of Silver Dragon and the others. Lu Li did not want to use the precious Slayer's Blood. He had to cultivate. Patriarch of Law Enforcement sighed and went on with Lu Li since he had made up his mind to cultivate. Kameng was cultivating as well, but he was not cultivating. He was studying the ancient inhibition formations. In the history of the Shadowland race, few powerful warriors emerged. Kumeng knew that the Shadowland race's advantage lay in inhibition formations and inhibition formations. Without those, the Shadowland race would not have enjoyed its current glory. Furthermore, without the powerful formation restriction, the Heavenly Illusion tribe would have been exterminated a long time ago. Cultivating their realm would be a waste of time. Boom, boom, boom. Masters of Heichi were still attacking, and some beast gods joined in. The wicked bead was not moving anymore. Master of Heichi did not need to expand the range of the cyan airflow. He only needed to replenish the cyan airflow every once in a while. If the range was too large, it would affect the beast gods from attacking the wicked bead. The tables had turned. It was the same as at the valley. The wicked bead stood still, and the beasts were attacking from all sides. The only difference was that the beast gods' attacks were weakened by the presence of the green air current. That being said, there was nothing they could do. Without the cyan airstream, the wicked bead would fly away. They could not catch up with it. After attacking for 10 days, the Silver Dragon King and the others stopped. After 10 strikes, the wicked bead remained the same. There was only a flash of cyan light, and there was no sign of the wicked bead breaking. The Silver Dragon King, Ghost-Faced Spider King, and Celestial Fox King were of high status, and there were millions of beasts watching. They felt embarrassed. Moreover, it was also very tiring and boring, so they simply stopped and entrenched themselves in the nearby mountains, letting the group of beast gods and beast emperors attack them. With the Silver Dragon King and the others personally holding the fort, the other beast sovereigns and beast deities did not dare to slack off. They attacked continuously and only rested when they were too tired. Time flew by. A month had passed, and nothing changed in the wicked bead. The Silver Dragon King and the others sat in closed-door cultivation, relaxed and at ease. The beast kings and beast gods were bored. But who dared to say anything? The millions of beasts had left. Those low-level beasts could not be of much help. Staying here was pointless except for watching the fun. 3 months had passed. The beast kings and beast gods' attacks had weakened. They had been attacking for 3 months. If it were not for the fact that the Silver Dragon King and the others were holding the fort, they would have slacked off. 5 months had passed. This time, even with the Silver Dragon King and the others holding the fort, the beast kings and beast gods' attacks had become feeble. If it were not for the Silver Dragon King's promise that they could enter the Pond of Dragons by breaking the wicked bead, some of the beast kings and beast gods would have fled. 8 months later, the beast kings and beast gods took turns to attack. The Master of Heichi no longer breathed out the cyan airstream himself. Instead, he asked his own beast gods to help. The beast kings and beast gods were divided into 2 teams. Each team would take turns to attack for 10 days. The beast kings and beast gods would treat it as a mission. They attacked slowly and feebly. Today was the day. All of a sudden, Luli opened his eyes. He seemed to have grown stronger. His eyes were as deep as the ocean. There was something indescribable about him. Earth Immortal Realm. The law enforcement elder suddenly opened his eyes, which were filled with astonishment. Luli had reached the later stage of the human sovereign realm. Patriarch of Law Enforcement believed that Luli must be cultivating to reach the Earth Immortal Realm. However, in merely 8 months, Luli had reached the Earth Immortal Realm. Patriarch of Law Enforcement thought about it. Luli was only 25 years old. To reach the Earth Immortal Realm at such a young age, he was indeed talented. Lu Renhuang reached the human sovereign realm at the age of 20. He was regarded as a talent that was hard to come by in 100,000 years. Lu Li, on the other hand, had reached the Earth Immortal Realm at the age of 25. He was more talented than Lu Renhuang. Of course, there were others who were more talented than Lu Li, such as Jiang Qiling, Emperor of Heaven Reverse, and several chosen warriors in human history. Jiang Qiling had reached the Earth Immortal Realm a few years ago, but she had acquired the legacy of Emperor of Heaven Reverse, which meant something different. Jiang Qiling had the spiritual mark of Emperor of Heaven Reverse in her soul. She only needed to study the spiritual mark of Emperor of Heaven Reverse to learn powerful, profound meanings and make breakthroughs. What Patriarch of Law Enforcement did not know was that Luli had also acquired the legacy of Emperor Hung. Luli learned the line diagram from the feather wind left by Emperor Hung. From the line diagram, Luli learned several powerful, profound meanings, which was why he could make breakthroughs faster. An immortal on Earth, that was a being that surpassed human beings. Sovereign among humans was still limited to humans. An immortal on Earth was close to an immortal. Warriors could change their destinies. Luli had embarked on the path of defying nature. Alas, that being said, Luli did not feel happy about reaching the earth immortal realm. He had been studying the Slayer's move for a long time, but to no avail. He learned another big diagram of the line diagram and acquired a new profound meaning related to wind. That being said, this profound meaning was of little value to Luli. Line mark profound meaning. The fourth profound meaning in the line diagram was about speed. It could enhance Luli's speed. Luli was fast to begin with. With the new profound meaning, his speed could be enhanced. That being said, the wicked bead was as fast as a semi-god realm warrior. Even if Luli were to use the wind mark profound meaning, he would not be as fast as the wicked bead. At this moment, they were trapped here, and this profound meaning was of no help to them. The wicked bead, I have to count on you. Luli placed his last hope on the wicked bead. After he reached the earth immortal realm, he should be able to dissolve the third layer of the seal. There were 6 layers of seals in the wicked bead. Luli was pleasantly surprised when he dissolved the first 2 layers of seals. What did he get this time? Chapter 9:71. When Luli got the wicked bead, he was only at the noble lord realm. Back then, he could only dissolve the first layer of the seal, but not the rest. He could only dissolve the second layer when he reached the human sovereign realm. Now, he could only dissolve the third layer after reaching the earth immortal realm. The fourth layer of the semi-god realm, only immortals could dissolve the fifth layer. Then to dissolve the sixth layer, one would have to be as powerful as a mighty warrior in the divinity. On this thought, Luli felt the wicked bead was not as simple as it appeared to be. Maybe there was a story behind the bead. Even in the divinity, the wicked bead could be a powerful artifact. Otherwise, why would God of Wings be so determined to get the wicked bead? Luli could not learn the Slayer's move, and the 2 profound meanings of the line diagram were of little value. He did not have much time left. He had to pin his hopes on the wicked bead. He poured Xian energy into the bead. The third layer of the seal glowed. Luli could clearly feel that the seal was being dissolved, but the process was slow. Pour more Xian energy in. Luli poured more Xian energy and the process sped up. He calculated and realized that to dissolve the third layer of the seal, it would take him about a year. 1 year. It had been a year since they came out. Another year should be fine. Warriors of the 9 universes should come in 3 or 4 years. Luli still had time. That being said, if the wicked bead did not have any powerful abilities after the third layer of the seal was dissolved, then Luli would have a headache. Well, I will have a year. If I cannot solve the problem by then, I will have to use the Slayer's blood. Luli made up his mind. Even though the Slayer's blood was precious, he was in a critical situation. He had no other choice. He opened his eyes and rested for half a day. He chatted with Patriarch of Law Enforcement for a while. Patriarch of Law Enforcement felt ashamed. He had been cultivating for 8 months, and his abilities had not improved. At his age, to make a breakthrough was as difficult as climbing up to the sky. For a warrior, the age of 50 was a threshold. If a warrior could not reach the Fate Wheel realm by the age of 50, it would be hard for him to achieve anything in his lifetime. After that, the age of 100 would be another threshold. If a warrior could not reach the Noble Lord realm by the age of 100, he would not have a promising future. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was not a talented man, but he was diligent in cultivation. He only reached the human sovereign realm when he was in his 90s. He was already 150 years old when he reached the Earth immortal realm. Now, he was more than 220 years old. He married very late and only gave birth to Lu Zhengtan when he was more than 100 years old. Although he was not the most outstanding in all aspects, he was very steady in his work, and his cultivation was very solid. He was very low-key, so he was the one with the highest achievements in his generation. The law enforcement elder knew his own limitations. His talent was not very good, and his thinking was rather old-fashioned. At his age, he didn't think he could make any more progress. Ascend to heaven? Become a god on the spot? For more than 1 million years, there were billions of human beings, and geniuses were as numerous as carps swimming in the river. However, Emperor of Heaven Reverse was the only one among them. Luli rested for half a day and had a good sleep. While cultivating Xian energy, he studied the Slayer's move and began to consume the wicked bead. The Beast Kings and Beast Gods were still attacking. Master of Silver Dragon had made up his mind. He would crack the wicked bead, even if he had to spend 10 or 20 years. The Silver Dragons had been dominating the Paleo-Beast realm for more than 1,000,000 years. 9-clawed Silver Dragons had the strongest defense, attack speed, and soul. The Silver Dragons occupied the best resources in the Paleo-Beast realm. As long as the Silver Dragons did not court disaster, no other species could challenge their position. Therefore, when a Master of Silver Dragon made a decision, the other beasts dared not to disobey. They might curse inside, but none dared to act rashly. Master of Silver Dragon was good at enchanting people. 3 months later, Master of Silver Dragon suddenly announced that each species could send 3 young members to the Pond of Dragons. This was an early benefit for each species. The Pond of Dragons was a land of treasures in the Paleo-Beast realm. The Masters were overjoyed when they heard the news. They sent a message to summon their 3 most powerful young members to the Mountain of Dragons. Master of Silver Dragon also promised that if the bead remained uncracked, each species could send 3 members to the Pond of Dragons every year. Every species was overjoyed to hear the news. They attacked even harder. The Beast Kings and Beast Gods of the Silver Dragons were worried. How could the 9-clawed Silver Dragons become the overlords of the Paleo-Beast realm? It was mostly because of the Pond of Dragons. With this land of treasures, the Silver Dragons could train more powerful warriors and dominate the Paleo-Beast realm with the absolute number of powerful warriors. Now, Master of Silver Dragon was asking each species to send 3 young members to the Pond of Dragons every year. If the wicked bead remained uncracked for decades, then the number of powerful warriors of each species would increase. By then, the Silver Dragon's position as the overlord might be shaken. The other 6 species might work together to eliminate the Silver Dragons. For the past 1,000,000 years, the Silver Dragons had suppressed many species. The other 6 species all shared some grudges with the Silver Dragons. However, the Silver Dragons were too powerful. Even if the other species were to work together, they could not defeat the Silver Dragons. Therefore, the other species were afraid to take action. In decades, with the help of the Pond of Dragons, the species would have more powerful warriors. The consequences would be unimaginable. Master of Silver Dragon was taking a gamble. If he could get the wicked bead, it would all be worth it. The wicked bead was a relic. Relic belonged to the divinity. The mortal world would never have one. The relic represented that mortals could not defeat a relic. But now, so many powerful beasts, including Master of Silver Dragon himself, had made a move. Yet, the wicked bead remained intact. The relic was impressive. As long as they could get the relic, the Silver Dragons would soar. They could conquer the 9 universes, not to mention dominating the Paleo-Beast realm. They could restore the dominance of the Paleo-Beasts 2,000,000 years ago. Of course, if they lost the gamble and could not get the wicked bead, the Silver Dragons would suffer a great loss. That being said, the Silver Dragons had many powerful warriors. At worst, they could wipe out the other 6 species. The Silver Dragons would not necessarily lose. In other words, the Silver Dragons might not be wiped out. On the other hand, as long as they could get the wicked bead, the Silver Dragons could rise again. Naturally, Master of Silver Dragon chose to take a gamble. The other species knew what Master of Silver Dragon was thinking. It was just that the Pond of Dragons was too tempting. What was more, they did not have the ability to fight against the Silver Dragons. Even if they were not allowed to enter the Pond of Dragons, they would have to obey the Master of Silver Dragon's orders. What was more, they were attacking humans, the archenemies of Paleo-Beasts. If they did not attack, the Silver Dragons would have an excuse to suppress them. As a matter of fact, the Beast Kings and Beast Gods of the other species might have been acting when they attacked weakly. The other species might have been putting on a show to force the Master of Silver Dragon to give in order to gain some benefits. All in all, this was a game between the species. Nobody could tell what the final result would be. It was up to fate. O divine Dragon King, please protect your people. Chapter 972. Time slipped away. Time flew by. Luli had no concept of time when he was in cultivation. He would come out every half a month to rest and take some energy pellets to replenish his energy. As a matter of fact, at the Noble Lord realm, he could go without food and water all year round. During cultivation, he could absorb Xian energy in heaven and earth to replenish his energy. They did have some food in their interspatial rings, but there would be impurities in the food. The impurities would be excreted, but they could not get out of the wicked bead. They had to take energy pellets to replenish their energy. Cultivating Xian energy in the inner hall of the wicked bead was fast. That being said, Lu Li poured the Xian energy into the wicked bead so that the seal could be dissolved faster. Lu Li gave up on the Slayer's move after half a year. Perhaps it was because the move was too abstruse, or because Lu Li's realm was not high enough, but he could not learn it. He could not even gain an inkling. Lu Li was not a stubborn man. He would not put all his eggs in one basket. Therefore, he gave up on the Slayer's move and went back to the line diagram. The line diagram had a total of 12 diagrams. He had only learned 4. There were 8 more diagrams, enough for him to reach the peak of the Earth Immortal Realm. He studied the line diagram quickly. In a month, he could learn 3 small diagrams. For the next few months, he cultivated smoothly. Now, another 4 months had passed, and he had already comprehended 11 small diagrams. Today, he stopped cultivation. He was not tired. The 3rd layer of the seal on the wicked bead was finally broken. The original estimate was 1 year. Now, 11 months had passed. It was a bit earlier because Lu Li had poured in all the Xian energy he cultivated. His eyes glowed with anticipation. A moment later, some information emerged in his mind. He had taken control of the wicked bead and had a spiritual connection with him. Naturally, he would know when there was a new skill. Okay. When he went through all the information, his soul trembled. The wicked bead did not let him down. When the 3rd seal was broken, the wicked bead had a new function, travel. Not only was there a new skill, but the speed and defense of the wicked bead had been enhanced as well. Lu Li could clearly feel the improvement in the defense. The attacks were still going on, but the consumption of energy was decreasing, and by a large margin. How strange. Lu Li was confused. Defense could be improved? Could it be that some of the defensive restrictions were sealed? He cracked the 3rd layer of seal and activated some inhibition formations. Was that why the wicked bead's defensive ability was increased? Teleportation? Traveling through space? Lu Li didn't care whether his defense was increased or not. The beast gods outside could not crack the wicked bead anytime soon. As long as they could escape, the wicked bead would be able to absorb energy from heaven and earth to replenish itself. What he cared about was the new function of the wicked bead. If this function could not break the cyan airstream outside, he would have to use the Slayer's blood. Give it a try. With a thought, the wicked bead trembled. Then, a cyan light burst out, much brighter than before. There's a situation. The Silver Dragon King, who was entrenched on the small mountain outside, suddenly opened its eyes. Then it shot up and roared. Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Ghost Face Spider followed closely behind. Master of Heichi also flew up and transformed into his original form, breathing out a cyan airflow. Buzz! The wicked bead glowed even brighter. Space trembled, and the wicked bead vanished on the spot. What? Master of Silver Dragon and the others turned pale with fright. They stared at the spot where the wicked bead disappeared, unable to believe their eyes. Over there, Master of Ghost Face Spider suddenly yelled. They turned to the north. 30 miles to the north, there was a black dot. Whoosh! Master of Silver Dragon flew over at once, followed by Master of Ghost Face Spider, Master of Heichi, and Master of Fairy Fox. The 200 beast gods flew over as well. For Master of Silver Dragon and the others, 30 miles was merely a matter of time for them to blink. When the beasts saw the wicked bead floating in the air, they were all stunned. Teleportation? There were beasts who knew how to teleport, and human warriors who had comprehended the profound meaning of space could also teleport. Generally speaking, human Earth immortals were capable of a divine power, the art of greater teleportation. But how could a bead teleport and cross the void? The beast gods felt they had seen a ghost. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. It really can teleport. Inside the wicked bead, Luli was overjoyed. The wicked bead did not disappoint him. It had teleported across 30 miles. The cyan airstream moved slowly, but there was no restriction on the space. The wicked bead could teleport directly. No matter how slow it would not matter. Ha ha ha. Luli's laughter woke Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Kamang up. They looked over and saw Luli smiling. Patriarch of Law Enforcement asked in pleasant surprise, "What is it? Did you make a breakthrough?" "Yes." Luli nodded. "We are free now." Huh. I will tell you later. I need to study it first." Luli closed his eyes to check the wicked bead. He forced a smile. The wicked bead had to consume energy to teleport. It was not an ordinary consumption. Just one teleportation was equivalent to the energy consumed by 200 beast gods for a month. Swish, swish, Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Fairy Fox had arrived, but they did not attack. Master of Heichi breathed out a cyan airstream that enveloped the wicked bead. What? Luli realized he was trapped by the cyan airstream again. He came back to his senses and flew the wicked bead again. Buzzing. The wicked bead glowed in a cyan color. Space trembled violently. Once again, the wicked bead disappeared and reappeared 30 miles to the west. The wicked bead was 30 miles away on both occasions. It seemed that this was the limit. Go after him. A glint of coldness rose in Master of Silver Dragon's eyes. He was both worried and excited. He was worried that the wicked bead could escape so easily. Could he crack the wicked bead? He was excited that the wicked bead could teleport. This must be a piece of treasure. If he could have it, the Silver Dragon race's hegemony would be achieved. Master of Silver Dragon whooshed on with the beast gods. The wicked bead stayed where it was after they teleported. Master of Silver Dragon and the others were delighted. Would the wicked bead have to stop for a while after each teleportation? Master of Silver Dragon was delighted. Would the wicked bead have to stop for a while after each teleportation? Soon, his expressions changed. The wicked bead moved. It dashed toward the north in a blur. Before anyone could react, the wicked bead had vanished into the north. Well, this speed, Master of Fairy Fox shouted in surprise. Her cherry lips were agape. Her pretty eyes were filled with astonishment, which was alluring. Can we catch up with him? Master of Ghostface Face's jaw dropped. He was frustrated. The other beast gods were disheartened. They didn't even have the desire to go after the wicked bead. Whoosh! Chapter 973. According to Lu Li's estimation, entering the Paleobeast realm would only take a couple of months. They would sneak back after killing 2 9-clawed masters of silver dragons. However, it had been almost 2 years since they entered the Paleobeast realm. They had been trapped many times. Luli had been holding back his anger. Now, he wanted to vent it out. The wicked bead had a new function. Both speed and defense had been improved. The wicked bead could be as fast as warriors at the later stage of the semi-god realm. Not even Master of Silver Dragon could catch up. If Master of 10-Winged Wolf could reach the stage of a mythical beast, he might be able to catch up. Therefore, Luli had no more concerns. He was ready to go on a killing spree. He would kill the beast gods of the Paleobeast realm one by one, and then return to the Heaven Reverse universe. Luli's words enraged the masters of the beasts. Master of Silver Dragon transformed back to his original form. Horrifying energy spread out. He dashed toward the wicked bead and smashed at the wicked bead with his tail. Luli would not stand there and wait to be smashed. After all, the wicked bead had lost a lot of energy. It could absorb energy from heaven and earth automatically, but that would take some time. The wicked bead moved. It moved and dodged Master of Silver Dragon's attack. Then, the wicked bead dashed toward the beast gods. Attack! Master of Heichi trapped the bead. Spread out! Master of Ghostface Face and Master of Fairy Fox shouted. The beast gods scattered at once. Master of Heichi breathed out cyan airstream. Luli laughed. He kept his psychic power on Master of Heichi and paid no attention to the other beast gods. As soon as Master of Heichi opened his mouth, Luli changed the direction of the wicked bead and smashed into a beast god. Boom! That beast god could not dodge at such a high speed. The wicked bead carried him forward. The wicked bead sped up and vanished into the west in a blink. Swish, swish, dozens of miles away, Luli used Feather Wind to suppress the beast god. Then, Patriarch of Law Enforcement showed up and smashed that beast god to death. Go on. Luli flew the wicked bead back the way he came. Masters of Silver Dragon, Ghostface Spider, Spiritual Cheongchi, and Blood Ape were on his way. The beasts were even more furious to see the wicked bead flying back. Roar, roar, the sanguine Ape King transformed into his true form. His robes burst open as his body grew bigger at a terrifying speed. In the end, it turned into a towering giant ape. Its blood-red eyes were like two bloody moons. Every time its legs stomped on the ground, two deep pits would appear. He took out a mace with a length of 1,000 feet and smashed at the wicked bead. The horns on the Silver Dragon King's head lit up and shot out two bolts of lightning. Master of Ghostface Face spat out many white hairs, tried to envelop the wicked bead. Ha ha ha! Luli turned the wicked bead abruptly in midair and flew to the left. All the beast gods missed their target. Then, before the beast gods could react, the wicked bead made another turn and smashed away a beast god at the back. Bang! This time, Patriarch of Law Enforcement showed up after flying for 3 miles. He killed that beast god with one strike and then dashed back into the wicked bead. It was a clean and efficient job. That beast god was from the Blood Ape race. Master Blood Ape was enraged to see his own kind being killed. He swung his mace in rage. Several hills nearby were smashed. Dust rose up. The low-level beasts were trembling in fear, but they did not dare to run away. Whoosh! The wicked bead kept on moving. The bead was fast, and there were too many beast gods. Another beast god was smashed away. Luli targeted the low-level beast gods because the feather wind could deter them easily. It was also easy for Patriarch of Law Enforcement to kill the beast gods. What was more, this could create panic among the beast gods, lower their morale, and make the masters of the 7 major beasts more furious. Inevitably, the wicked bead was hit a few times after several charges. However, after the 3rd seal was lifted, the wicked bead's defense and speed had been enhanced. The attacks did not consume much energy. Luli did not mind. He only needed to keep an eye on Master of Heichi because the cyan airstream could trap the wicked bead. When trapped, Luli had to use the wicked bead to teleport, which would consume a lot of energy. Bang, bang, bang. Every time the wicked bead came, a beast god would be smashed away. Then, right under the beast god's noses, Patriarch of Law Enforcement would show up and kill that beast god. After the feather wind attack, the beast gods could not defend themselves. In this case, their defense would be weakened. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was at the semi-god realm. It was not surprising that he could be killed in one strike. 3, 5, 10. Seeing the beast gods being killed one by one, the masters were getting more and more furious. On the other hand, the low-level beast gods were panicking. The wicked bead was so fast that they could not catch up with it. Even if they could, what could they do? Who could crack the bead? Not even Master of Heichi's skill could trap the wicked bead. The low-level beast gods had lost all hope. There was no way they could defeat the 2 humans. Staying here would only lead to death. The question was, where could they run to? It would be a catastrophe for the Paleobeast realm if the 2 humans could not be killed. In the future, more powerful human warriors would come, and all the Paleobeasts would be wiped out. Therefore, none of the beasts dared to leave. They went after the wicked bead blindly. When the wicked bead came, the beasts would attack wildly, hoping that they could crack it open. Bang, bang, bang. The wicked bead came again and again, taking away one beast god after another. In the end, Patriarch of Law Enforcement smashed the beast gods' heads, and they fell to the ground. No! An hour later, the masters finally came to their senses. They could not go on like this. Those low-level beast gods would only be courting death if they stayed here. They could not avoid the wicked bead. They could only wait to be killed. Leave. Everyone, except for the masters, leave. The Silver Dragon King roared, and the beast gods felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. They fled in all directions. Luli did not let go of those beast gods. He went after them. The masters of the 7 major beasts had to go after him. Luli chased after 4 beast gods. All of a sudden, the wicked bead stopped in the air. When the masters of the 7 major beasts caught up, Luli said, "Do you really think I am afraid to deal with you? I will kill you one by one." Of the 7 major beasts, only 3 were mythical beasts. The others were only at the Earth Immortal Realm or the peak of the Earth Immortal Realm. For Luli, it was not difficult to kill them. He had another card up his sleeve. The dragon demon was horrifying. As far as Luli could tell, it was no weaker than Master of Silver Dragon. Therefore, given the chance, Luli would capture or kill all the masters of the 7 major beasts. If there was no chance, then he would create one. P.S. I want to pay off the debt. But there were too many things to do at the end of the year. He had not bought any spring festival goods, maintained his car, went to his mother-in-law's house, and had to attend the year-end meeting. He could not split himself into 2. At the end of the year, his friends had come back, and he had to socialize. He still owed 11 chapters. He would pay them back after the spring festival. Don't worry. Chapter 974. How to Create a Chance. That was to separate the 7 beast race kings. As long as they were separated, Luli could even kill the Silver Dragon King easily. The wicked bead whooshed across the sky toward the 7 masters. But it made a sudden turn in the air and dashed toward Master of Spiritual Cheonchi again. Master of Heichi opened his mouth and breathed out cyan airstream toward Master of Spiritual Cheonchi. Luli had no choice but to turn the wicked bead again. Swish, hiss, hiss, whoosh. Masters of Silver Dragon, Ghostface Spider, and Fairy Fox were here. This time, the distance was too close for Luli to dodge. The wicked bead was hit. However, this time, the wicked bead was smashed away. It flew for 30 miles and smashed into a hill, leaving a hole on the hill. What? Master of Silver Dragon and the others were taken aback. Previously, no matter how they attacked, the wicked bead would not budge. Why was the wicked bead smashed away? Was the energy in the wicked bead running out? Bang! The wicked bead smashed through the hill and flew out from the other side. The wicked bead flew to the distance at a slower speed. Go after him. Master of Silver Dragon and Ghostface Spider suspected that Luli was faking it. But what if it was true? Master of Silver Dragon and the others had a glimmer of hope. If the energy was running out, then this was the moment to crack the wicked bead. The wicked bead regained its original speed, which was similar to that of Master of Silver Dragon, Fairy Fox, and Ghostface Spider. The 3 of them could catch up with it. The other 4 were not as fast. Only Master of 10-Winged Wolf could keep up. This time, the wicked bead did not turn around. It flew forward in a straight line. Soon, Luli said coldly, "Stop right now. Don't chase after me, or I will slaughter your civilians and wipe out the entire Paleobeast realm." Master of Silver Dragon, Ghostface Spider, and Fairy Fox looked at each other. Not only were they not worried, they were delighted. Did Luli's words mean that the energy in the wicked bead was running out? Bang! The wicked bead flew downward. When it passed a layer of beasts, the wicked bead smashed into it, killing over 1,000 beasts. Then, the wicked bead swaggered away. Master of Silver Dragon snorted, but he was overjoyed. It seemed that Luli was putting up a last-ditch struggle. Otherwise, why would he kill low-level beasts to threaten them? Swoosh! The Masters of Beasts followed closely. The wicked bead was on the run. Every now and then, it would attack one lair after another. But never once did it turn around. Master of Silver Dragon and the others were even more excited. It seemed that the wicked bead would be cracked in a couple of days. 2 hours later, the wicked bead was so fast that it had covered a distance of thousands of miles in 2 hours. It was obvious that King Xiongqi, King Bloody Ape, and King Swanee were unable to keep up with them. They were barely able to keep up. But as the distance between them grew further and further, the three Beast Kings had no choice but to fall behind. Master of Silver Dragon and the others knew that Master of Heichi could not keep up. That being said, the wicked bead had been flying forward. How could he stop? He had to keep up, and at the same time, keep attacking the wicked bead. Is this a conspiracy? Dynasty of Fairy Foxes looked at the wicked bead in front of them, worried. If Luli wanted them to be separated from Master of Heichi and Master of Blood Ape and the others, then Master of Blood Ape and the others would be in danger. However, even if they guessed that there was a conspiracy, what could they do? Was he not going to chase after him anymore? Let the wicked bead fly away. If the wicked bead turned into a pebble and hid like last time, it would be troublesome to find it. The wicked bead flew on. An hour later, the wicked bead suddenly glowed in a cyan light. The wicked bead sped up. In a blur, the wicked bead vanished into the distance. In the time for a dozen breaths, Master of Silver Dragon and the other three Beast Kings could no longer be seen. They have been tricked. Master of Heichi, King of Spiritual Qiongqi, and King of Blood Ape are in danger. Master of Fairy Fox yelled in alarm. What she worried about the most had happened. Luli was putting on an act. His purpose was to separate them, and then turn around to go after Master of Heichi and the other two Beast Kings. Go back. Master of Silver Dragon had his doubts as well. His eyes were filled with rage. He swung his huge body toward Master of Heichi and the others. As he had expected, not long after they turned around, they saw a streak of light flying toward Master of Heichi and the others from the west. They had been flying for an hour. It would take them at least an hour to go back and meet up with Master of Heichi and the others. The wicked bead was fast. At most, it would take them the time for 2 incense sticks to burn. In other words, Luli had the time for 1 to 2 incense sticks to burn to make a move. In a fight between powerful warriors, the time for 1 to 2 incense sticks to burn was enough to determine life and death. They could only count on Master of Heichi's skill. If Master of Heichi's skill could not stand it, by the time they arrived, the 3 masters would be dead. Master of Heichi, don't run around. Luli sped up the wicked bead. As a matter of fact, he did not use a trick, but an open one. So what if Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Fairy Fox knew? Would they dare not to go after him? Luli could only hope that Master of Heichi and the others would not run around. The Paleobeast realm was a vast place, and it would be troublesome for him to find them. The wicked bead could be as fast as a warrior at the later stage of the semi-god realm. It was horrifying. In the time for 1 breath, the wicked bead could cover thousands of miles. In the time for 1 incense stick to burn, Luli saw 3 dots on the horizon. Okay, Luli was overjoyed. Master of Heichi and the other 2 were following them. Luli shouted to Patriarch of Law Enforcement, Great-Grandpa. Only Master of Heichi, Master of Blood Ape, and Master of Spiritual Qiongqi are out there. We have the time for 2 incense sticks to burn. You distract Master of Heichi. No problem. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was eager to fight. He was experienced. He understood Lu Li's words at once. A golden armor appeared over his body, and an iron rod appeared in his hand. Whoosh! The wicked bead whooshed on. Soon, it was dozens of miles away from Master of Heichi and the others. Luli did not hesitate. The wicked bead glowed, and Patriarch of Law Enforcement came out. He released a 9th rank, profound meaning of darkness at once. Swish, swish, Xianqi in heaven and earth surged. Soon, the sky darkened until it was completely dark. Master of Heichi and the other 2 felt their hearts were pounding when they saw the wicked bead coming. They changed back to their original forms at once. But before they could attack, Patriarch of Law Enforcement had come out. Everything was in darkness. "Charge!" Luli shouted. Patriarch of Law Enforcement took the lead. He did not use the dark elements around him. Instead, he used another profound meaning and smashed at Master of Heichi. "Charge!" Master of Heichi bellowed. He could not see clearly, and his psychic power was affected. But he could tell where Patriarch of Law Enforcement was by listening to the wind. He breathed out a cyan airstream. Whoosh! As soon as Master of Heichi moved, Luli moved as well. He dashed out from the wicked bead and shouted, "Traceless wind!" Wind gathered around Luli. He turned into a gust of wind and dashed toward another direction. He was not slower than Patriarch of Law Enforcement. This profound meaning is not bad. Chapter 975. A young human being? They knew that there were two humans invading the Paleobeast realm, an old man at the semi-god realm and a young human being. That being said, Master of Heichi, Master of Blood Ape, and Master of Spiritual Chionchi were surprised to see Lu Li in the outside world for the first time. Lu Li was too young, not in terms of appearance, but in terms of vitality. As far as they could tell, Lu Li was just a human kid. How could he reach such a realm? More importantly, he was so fast that he was no slower than that old man at the semi-god realm. "Charge!" Master of Heichi was fighting Patriarch of Law Enforcement. Master of Spiritual Chionchi and Master of Blood Ape naturally dashed toward Lu Li. The two masters would not believe that they could not kill Lu Li. Feather Wind Castle. Lu Li did not have time to waste on the three masters. Master of Silver Dragon and the others would arrive in the time for 1 or 2 incense sticks to burn. He must kill the three masters within this time. As soon as the Featherwind Castle appeared, it enveloped Master of Spiritual Chionchi and Master of Blood Ape. However, the two masters were too large for one room to contain them. Also, as soon as they moved, the walls of the rooms nearby collapsed. Featherwind Weapons. Lu Li generated over 1,000 Featherwind weapons and attacked at the two masters at once. He used psychic power to check and was shocked. Though the two masters were not mythical beasts yet, their souls were strong. The soul attacks in the Featherwind did not have much effect on them. Can it be that soul attacks of the Featherwind have less effect on the beasts? Lu Li remembered that the dragon demon was immune to soul attacks. He had his doubts. The Featherwind weapons smashed at Master of Spiritual Chionchi and Master of Blood Ape. Lu Li shook his head and sighed again. The defense of the beasts was too strong. The Featherwind weapons might be able to break through their defense, but it would take a long time to kill them. Okay. Lu Li was relieved to see Master of Heichi and Patriarch of Law Enforcement. Master of Heichi's skill was impressive, but Patriarch of Law Enforcement was fast enough to dodge it. It was dark and Master of Heichi was slow to react. He could not trap Patriarch of Law Enforcement. Wind Wisp. Lu Li used another useless skill. Feather Wind whooshed across the sky. This time, the Feather Wind was different from the usual Feather Wind. This time, the Feather Wind seemed to be sticky. It entangled Master Blood Ape and Master Chionchi like threads. Roar, roar, Master of Blood Ape bellowed. He had been charging toward Lu Li, but he could not move because of the Feather Wind. It's still somewhat useful. Lu Li nodded to himself. The profound meaning of Wind Wisp was not bad. At the very least, it could hold back two masters of beasts. But clearly, Master of Silver Dragon would not be able to hold them down. Little White. Time was running out. Lu Li did not have time to torture the two masters to death. He used psychic power to check the wicked bead and woke up Little White from its sleep. Later, come out and do some work. Bite a big guy to death. Xiao. Lu Li dashed toward Master of Spiritual Chionchi and Master of Blood Ape. He was prepared to use the Blood Claws to kill the two Beast Race Kings. The Blood Claws were very sharp and should be able to break through the Beast Race King's defense. However, Lu Li was no longer an ignorant person. Before, he didn't dare to take risks, but now, he had a lot of confidence. Roar, roar. Swish, Master of Spiritual Qiongqi and Master of Blood, Ape, kept yelling, trying to break free from the feather wind. But Luli would send out more feather wind to tie them up. The soul attacks in the feather wind had made the two beast kings suffer. Blood Claw. Luli's hand formed the blood claw. At the same time, the wicked bee glowed as Little White came out. It dashed around to the left, ready to sneak up on Master of Blood Ape from behind. Now, Luli was only thousands of feet away from Master of Blood Ape and Master of Spiritual Qiongqi. Master of Blood Ape bellowed and opened his third eye. A ray of black and white light flew out toward Luli. Swish, Master of Spiritual Qiongqi did not attack. It flapped its huge wings and let out a ghostly cry. That sound was condensed into a line and rang directly in Luli's soul. Soul attack? Luli smiled. The silver dragon mark in his core of soul glowed, and the pain in his soul disappeared. At the same time, Luli's body glowed in silver light. The dragon armor appeared and fended off Master of Blood Ape's attack. Go to hell. Luli dashed over like a breeze and reached at Master of Spiritual Qiongqi's head with his blood claw. With a muffled sound, Luli's blood claw pierced into Master of Spiritual Qiongqi's skull. But it was strenuous. Master of Spiritual Qiongqi's defense was strong. Squeak, squeak. On the other side, Little White had dashed to the back of Master of Blood Ape's neck. Little White opened its mouth and began to bite. Little White was more powerful than Luli. Its mouth could even crack the dragon demon's defense. Master of Blood Ape's defense was nothing to it. Roar, roar. Master of Blood Ape was enraged. He sensed fatal danger. However, he was restrained and could not move his hands. The only thing he could do was to twist his body and shoot out rays of black and white light at Luli from his third eye. The dragon armor was as strong as a 9th-rank mystic armor. It could withstand attacks from semi-god realm warriors, not to mention that Master of Blood Ape's third eye was not strong. Luli dared to engage in close combat because his defense was improved. Swish, Master of Spiritual Qiongqi wailed and howled, trying to attack Luli's soul. Unfortunately, Master of Spiritual Qiongqi's soul attack was not strong enough. Luli was not affected at all. His blood claw scratched at Master of Spiritual Qiongqi's head again and again. Soon, a large internal core was dug out. Master of Spiritual Qiongqi died instantly. Roar, roar. Little White succeeded easily. It bit off Master of Blood Ape's neck. When the feather wind castle disappeared, Master of Blood Ape's huge head was separated from his body. They fell into the mountain one after the other. Nice. Patriarch of Law Enforcement could control dark elements and could sense what was going on. Luli did not let out the dragon demon. He and Little White could kill Master of Blood Ape and Master of Spiritual Qiongqi in such a short time. He had to admit that Luli and Little White could not do it so easily. Okay, you're the only one left, Master of Heiqi. Luli turned to Master of Heiqi and shouted, I will give you a chance. Become my spiritual beast or die. Master of Heiqi had a powerful and rare skill. He could control the flow of time. Luli had killed Master of Blood Ape and Master of Spiritual Qiongqi because he wanted to capture Master of Heiqi. Master of Heiqi snorted. He opened his huge mouth and said with pride, Paleobeasts are the most honorable species. You want us to surrender to lowly and insidious creatures like you humans? You wish. What kind of honorable species are you Paleobeasts? Chapter 976. A Mythical Beast? Master of Heiqi was taken aback. He lowered his body. He was even more frightened when he sensed the energy of the dragon demon. He did sense the energy of a mythical beast from the dragon demon. It was not the energy of a mythical beast like Master of Silver Dragon, but the energy of a real mythical beast. Every species had their own gods to worship. The Paleobeasts, of course, worshipped mythical beasts. Though they were of different species, they were familiar with the energy of mythical beasts. The dragon demon was summoned from the world above. Though it was not an immortal yet, the energy of a mythical beast could not be faked. A mythical beast had become this young man's spiritual beast. Master of Heichi was shocked. Luli had a relic. Was Luli the son of an immortal who came down from the divinity? Or was Luli the reincarnation of an immortal? Luli saw the hesitation in Master of Heichi's eyes. He said again, Master of Heichi, you should know that no beast in the Paleobeast realm can stop us. If you are stubborn, I will wipe out all the Paleobeasts. Surrender to me, and I will guarantee that the Heichi will live for generations to come. Also, I only need you to serve me for 100 years. After that, I will set you free. 100 years? Master of Heichi was wavering. Beasts could live longer than humans. Powerful beasts could live for 4,000 to 5,000 years. 100 years was just a blink of an eye for them. Dragon Demon. Master of Heichi had not made up his mind, and it had been a long time. Luli threw the Dragon Demon an impatient look. The red airstream around the Dragon Demon trembled. Master of Heichi was restrained by the red airstream. He could not move. Kill Master of Heichi, and then wipe out the Heichi species. Luli yelled. The Dragon Demon whooshed on. The Dragon Demon spread its wings and reached at Master of Heichi's head with its huge claw. As soon as the Dragon Demon made its move, Master of Heichi was so scared that his soul almost left his body. Don't. I surrender. At the last moment, Master of Heichi shouted. Luli was overjoyed. Master of Heichi's skills were amazing. He would be a great help in the future. Luli ordered the Dragon Demon to step back. Then, Luli asked the Dragon Demon, You know spiritual beast skills, right? Give me the source of your soul. Understood. Master of Heichi had a bitter smile on his face. He closed his eyes and digested the origin of soul, but he felt wronged. He knew that once he became a spirit beast of a human race, he would be looked down upon by the Paleobeasts for the rest of his life. Even the Heichi species would be discriminated against and oppressed by the other species. The problem was, even a mythical beast had surrendered to Luli. What was there to be ashamed of? The Sheji race was discriminated against and suppressed. If they did not surrender, the Sheji race would probably cease to exist. Also, Luli only needed him to serve for 100 years. After that, he would be free again. This was a great temptation. A moment later, a cyan mark flew out from between Master of Heichi's eyebrows toward Luli. Then, a cyan mark appeared between Luli's eyebrows. Master of Heichi turned into a shadow and disappeared. All right, Luli was satisfied. The Master of Heichi had become his spiritual beast. But when he looked at the Dragon Demon, he was confused. Could he take back two beasts at the same time? Return. He gave a try. The Dragon Demon turned into a shadow and then disappeared between Luli's eyebrows in a ray of red blur. There was a cyan mark between his eyebrows. As the Dragon Demon went in, the cyan mark shrank and reappeared in the center of the red mark. Looking from the distance, it was as if there was a third eye between Luli's eyebrows, giving him an evil look. Okay. Luli grinned. With the Master of Heichi, he had one more skill. When Warriors of the Nine Universes came, the Master of Heichi could be used as a surprise weapon. Good. Patriarch of Law Enforcement flew over and nodded. This Master of Heichi is impressive. But spiritual beasts are similar to soul slaves. Don't take too many. It will affect your cultivation. Your own abilities are the most important. Everything else is just a side road. Great-grandpa, I know. I will disconnect the spiritual connection with the soul slaves when I get back. Given Luli's current abilities, the Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves would not be of much help. He could kill them or let someone else control them. For example, Lu Xingyang could control them and turn them into the guard dogs of the Lu family. The four Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves of the Feng family of the Central Imperial Universe. Luli swore a heaven reverse blood oath that he would set them free in 10 years. Now that Warriors of the Nine Universes were coming, Luli would not do the same for the Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves. He could set the four Earth Immortal Realm soul slaves free, but Patriarch of Law Enforcement could capture four more. If they refused to surrender, Luli would kill the four. He would not show any mercy to his enemies. Squeak, squeak, Little White flew over and stood on Luli's shoulder. Little White held its head high, waiting for Luli's praise. Luli patted Little White's head and put it into the wicked bead. What should we do now? Patriarch of Law Enforcement looked into the distance. He had to find a way to kill Master of Silver Dragon and the others before he could go back. Luli thought for a while. All of a sudden, he had an idea. Master of Silver Dragon and the others are coming. How about we put on a show? Patriarch of Law Enforcement was old-fashioned, but he was experienced. Soon his eyes glowed. You mean, with the help of Master of Heichi? Yes, Luli nodded. But Great-Grandpa, you'll have to take some risks. I will let Master of Heichi trap you in the Cyan Airstream. When Master of Silver Dragon and the others arrive, Master of Heichi will launch a sneak attack. No problem. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was confident in his defense. He might not be able to stand Master of Fairy Fox's soul attack, but in the Cyan Airstream, Master of Silver Dragon and the others would not be able to kill him. Master of Heichi, come out, Luli shouted. A cyan shadow came out from between his eyebrows. Master of Heichi came out in midair. Luli ordered, release the Cyan Airstream and trap my great-grandpa in it. Yes, Master of Heichi was Luli's spiritual beast. Without any hesitation, he breathed out the Cyan Airstream to trap Patriarch of Law Enforcement. Patriarch of Law Enforcement was not affected. It was just that he found it difficult to move. Okay, now the fish is biting, Luli said to Master of Heichi, and then went back into the wicked bead. He floated in midair and waited. Whoosh, after the time for one incense stick to burn, Luli heard some noises coming from the distance. Masters of Silver Dragon, Tin-Winged Wolf, Fairy Fox, and Ghost-Faced Spider were here. Luli began to put on a show as well. He tried to smash at Master of Heichi with the wicked bead. Master of Heichi breathed out Cyan Airstream to trap the wicked bead. Patriarch of Law Enforcement tried to fly out of the range of the Airstream. Roar! Master of Silver Dragon bellowed. He was enraged to see Master of Blood Ape and Master of Spiritual Chionchi being killed. But they were thrilled to see that Patriarch of Law Enforcement was trapped. They sped up to the top of their speed and dashed over. Luli snorted. He flew the wicked bead toward the Master of Silver Dragon. Master of Heichi sensibly went after Luli. While Master of Silver Dragon and the other three were attacking the wicked bead, Master of Heichi breathed out Cyan Airstream. Before anyone could react, the Cyan Airstream enveloped the wicked bead and the four Masters of Beasts. Master of Heichi, you idiot! Master of Silver Dragon felt he was slowed down. He bellowed in rage. However, Master of Heichi kept breathing out Cyan Airstream that trapped the four Masters of Beasts. Wait a minute. Master of Fairy Fox looked at Master of Heichi and was taken aback. She yelled, "We have been tricked. That bastard has become a human's spiritual beast." Ha ha ha. Luli laughed out loud. The wicked bead trembled and teleported to 30 miles away. Soon, the wicked bead flew back. Luli's voice came out from the wicked bead. He was overjoyed. Master of Heichi, well done. I will give you Master of Fairy Fox. Chapter 977. Hiss hiss. Master of Heichi took a deep breath and sucked the Cyan Airstream over Patriarch of Law Enforcement into his mouth. Then he breathed out at Masters of Silver Dragon, Fairy Fox, Ghost-Faced Spider, and Tin-Winged Wolf. Buzzing. But at this moment, the Fairy Fox monarch's body lit up with white light. Her robe suddenly burst into flames. The pink dress outside was burned, but the tulle inside was not burned. Master of Fairy Fox was a stunning beauty, a goddess like Ji Mengtian. She was only wearing the chiffon. Her graceful and perfect body was faintly discernible, which made her even more charming. If it were only her body, they would have been able to resist the temptation since their souls were strong. However, Master of Fairy Fox was glowing in a holy white light. Her face was as pretty as a peach blossom, and her eyes were watery. The combination of holiness and charm had created a stunning temptation. It was as if all the colors in the world disappeared. Everyone's mind was attracted by that graceful body, that face full of love, and that pair of eyes full of affection. They were addicted to it, unable to extricate themselves, and unable to redeem themselves. Master of Heichi wanted to breathe out more cyan airstream, but he stopped. He stared at Master of Fairy Fox with lust in his eyes. In addition to Master of Heichi, Master of Ten-Winged Wolf, Ghost-Faced Spider, and Master of Silver Dragon were the same. They had been struggling. Now, they stared at Master of Fairy Fox, wishing they could swallow her. However, upon closer inspection, one could tell that Master of Silver Dragon and Ghost-Faced Spider were still struggling. Clearly, Master of Fairy Fox's enchantment was not enough to stun them completely. Gulp, Patriarch of Law Enforcement gulped. He seemed to be hundreds of years younger than before. His face was flushed, and there was a slight curve under his armor. It had been years since he had had such an urge. It was as if he had a second chance at life. Luli sensed that Master of Heichi was about to be controlled by Master of Fairy Fox. He flew the wicked bead at once and smashed Master of Heichi away. When Master of Heichi came back to his senses, Luli asked him to transform into a human and put him into the wicked bead. Similarly, Luli flew the wicked bead over, smashed Patriarch of Law Enforcement away, and took him into the wicked bead. After the law enforcement elder came in, he immediately woke up. He felt that there was some reaction from below, and his old face suddenly became extremely embarrassed. He was Luli's great-grandpa, and now something so embarrassing had happened to him. He wanted to dig a hole and hide in it. Luli used psychic power to check. When he was sure that the cyan airstream was not enough, he said to Master of Heichi, "Later, when you go out and use your skills, change back to your human form. I will take you in. Repeat this 3 times. Do not let the Silver Dragon King and the others escape. By the way, do you think the Silver Dragon King and the others can break your innate ability?" Master of Heichi thought for a while and said, "The Silver Dragon King, the Fairy Fox King, and the Phantom King are out of the question. As for the Ghost Face Spider King, I am not sure. All right, let's go." Luli waved his hand. Master of Heichi came out. He transformed into his original form and breathed out cyan airstream. Then, Master of Heichi returned to his human form and was taken away by Luli, Master of Fairy Fox side. Her interspatial ring glowed as she put on a dress. Since Luli was so cautious, her enchantment had lost its effect. Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Silver Dragon turned to Master of Ghost Face. They had no other choice. They would have to wait and see if Master of Ghost Face could break out and kill Master of Heichi. Master of Ghost Face's face twisted under his cloak. He stared at the wicked bead and opened his mouth. Space began to tremble as a transparent line extended out. Buzzing. Master of Heichi came out again and changed back to his original form. However, this time, he soon realized something was wrong. His foot was entangled by a transparent line. Then, Master of Ghost Face dashed out from the cyan airstream at a fast speed. Soon, he was out of the range of the cyan airstream. Oh no! Luli sensed something was wrong. Master of Ghost Face could get out. Without hesitation, Luli dashed out from the wicked bead. Between his eyebrows glowed red as the dragon demon came into being. "Kill him!" Pointing at Master of Ghost Face, Luli yelled. He himself went back into the wicked bead. The dragon demon flapped its wings and dashed toward Master of Ghost Face. And Masters of Silver Dragon, Fairy Fox, and Ten-Winged Wolf trembled at the same time. The energy of the dragon demon had struck fear into their souls. That was the suppression that beasts of higher levels could exert on those of lower levels. Out of instinct, beasts of lower levels would feel pressured and frightened when they saw beasts of higher levels. Is that a mythical beast? No, I cannot wait for death. This is not a mythical beast. This is the mortal world. How can there be a mythical beast? Everything is an illusion. Also, how can a mythical beast surrender to a human? Master of Ghost Face bellowed. His robe was torn apart as he revealed his true form. It was a huge spider with crisscrossing black lines all over its body. It had a pair of eerie eyes and looked extremely terrifying. Swish, swish, Master Ghostface took the lead. He opened his mouth and spat out white silk toward the dragon demon. There were too many white hairs. The dragon demon felt as if a white glare was sweeping across. The dragon demon was entangled by the white hairs. Hoot hoot! The dragon demon raised its head and bellowed. The red airstream spread out and burned away the white silk. The red airstream swept across. Master of Ghostface was enveloped by the red airstream. He could not move anymore. That is horrifying. Masters of Silver Dragon and Fairy Fox's confidence was shattered. Master of Ten-Winged Wolf's mouth was trembling. Master of Silver Dragon made up his mind and shouted, "Master of Fairy Fox, use the enchantment." All right, Master of Fairy Fox was struggling. In the end, her robe was burned up again, revealing the thin veil underneath. Two rays of white light shot out from her eyes toward the dragon demon. However, clearly, her enchantment was ineffective on the dragon demon. The dragon demon did not even look at her. The two rays of white light went into the dragon demon's body, but it did not react. Hoot hoot! The dragon demon dashed over and smashed at the Master of Ghostface with its huge paw. This was a matter of life and death. The 16 legs of the Master of Ghostface broke off and turned into black and white silk, flying toward the dragon demon. This was the most powerful skill the Master of Ghostface could have. The silk was corrosive. Even the Master of Silver Dragon would be injured. If this was not effective on the dragon demon, the Master of Ghostface would have to accept his death. He was overthinking. The red airstream around the dragon demon grew stronger. The silk could not get close to the dragon demon. Then, the dragon demon smashed down at the Master of Ghostface's with its huge paw. A crack appeared on the Master of Ghostface's body. Crack, crack. The dragon demon opened its mouth and bit at the Master of Ghostface. After a dozen bites, the Master of Ghostface was swallowed. Hoot, hoot. Chapter 978. Buzzing. Luli dashed out from the wicked bead. At the same time, he ordered the dragon demon to stand still. There's a reason for him to come out. He wanted to check the origin blood essence in the Master of Silver Dragon to see if it could resonate with his Silver Dragon mark and awaken his bloodline skill. It was a pity. This time, he sensed 5 drops of origin blood essence in the Master of Silver Dragon. But this time, his bloodline was not boiling and the Silver Dragon mark was not glowing. It seemed that the origin blood essence of the Silver Dragon was useless to him after he used it. Luli came out for another matter. He wanted to see if his soul defense could stand Master of Fairy Fox's enchantment. Since he began his journey, the Silver Dragon mark could withstand any soul attack. He wanted to see if this time would be an exception. He flew up and stood on the head of the dragon demon. He looked at Master of Fairy Fox, and his eyes glowed out of instinct. Needless to say, Master of Fairy Fox's perfect body was a fatal temptation to men. What? Master of Silver Dragon, Master of Fairy Fox, and Master of Ten-Winged Wolf were surprised. The fact that Luli could stand on the head of the dragon demon meant that the dragon demon was indeed Luli's spiritual beast. Luli was so young and only at the Earth Immortal realm. How could he tame a mythical beast? This scene was too comical and absurd for them. This is my chance. Master of Fairy Fox reacted quickly. She wriggled and danced in the cyan airstream. There was a faint glow around her, which made her look extremely enchanting. Dance of Fairy Fox. This was a dance of the Fairy Fox race, specially designed to deal with human males. Over the course of history, many human male warriors had died to this dance. Luli was young and vigorous. He was only at the Earth Immortal realm. Master of Fairy Fox believed that Luli would not be bewitched. Luli was the master of the dragon demon, and Master of Heichi seemed to have been tamed by him as well. The wicked bead was Luli's. Once Luli's soul was controlled, then all the dangers would be solved. What was more, Master of Fairy Fox could control Luli, which meant that she could control the dragon demon and master Ghostface Spider and have the wicked bead. By then, she could tell the dragon demon to kill Master of Silver Dragon, and the Paleobeast realm would belong to the Fairy Fox race. Thinking of this, the Fairy Fox King became more and more excited. Her delicate body twisted more happily, and her pair of fox eyes were full of lust. Her curves were exaggerated. Her flat stomach and plump breasts formed a strong visual contrast. At this moment, it was still wriggling like a snake. The temptation had reached its peak. If it was any other man here, they would have long been infatuated, unable to differentiate north from south. There was a legend in the Heaven Reverse universe. It was said that there was a fox that cultivated for 1,000 years and became a spirit. It could seduce men and absorb their energy. In the Heaven Reverse universe, sluts that seduced men were called vixens. At this moment, Luli understood that this was not just a legend. There were real vixens, and he was seeing one. Buzz! Luli felt a surge of invisible energy entering his soul. It was so fast that he did not even have time to react. But the silver dragon mark in his core of soul protected him automatically. The silver dragon wandered around the core of soul, blocking out all the invading energy. Master of Fairy Fox was surprised. She stopped dancing and stared at Luli in disbelief. Of course, she could feel that her energy was blocked by Luli's silver dragon mark. Luli had such a strong soul protection artifact. All her attacks were futile. Dance. That's nice. Why don't you dance? Luli grinned and said with mockery, Master of Fairy Fox, I thought the 3rd level of your enchantment can charm immortals and demons. I don't think it is that good. Who are you? Master of Fairy Fox asked in surprise. A human young man? Not only did he have a relic, but he had also tamed a mythical beast. More importantly, he could fend off her enchantment. Luli did not look like an average human being. Is he an immortal coming to the mortal world? Is he not at the Earth immortal realm? Master of Silver Dragon had the same thought. If he were an average human being, it would be appalling. Also, if a human young man was so strong, how strong would the warriors of the 9 universes be? Who I am is not important. Luli stood on the dragon demon. The silver dragon armor made him look like an immortal. His white hair danced in the wind, adding a touch of devilish charm to him. Looking at Master of Fairy Fox, Luli said, The important thing is how will you choose? Either surrender to me like Master of Heichi, or your 3 species will be erased from the world forever. Taking in too many spiritual beasts was the same as soul slaves. Cultivation would be affected. Luli might not feel it at the moment because he was young, but in the future, there would be problems. That being said, Luli did not have time to worry about that now. He could go back and remove the spiritual imprint on all the soul slaves. Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Fairy Fox were mythical beasts to be. Their abilities could be compared to the middle stage of the semi-god realm. They were 2 powerful helpers. They could be of help when fighting against the warriors of the 9 universes. Surrender? Master of Silver Dragon and Master of Fairy Fox looked at each other and sneered out of instinct. They were the noble Paleobeasts, the overlords of dozens of universes. Surrendering to a human was impossible. Master of 10-Winged Wolf thought the same. His face was clouded. Luli waved his hand. From the distance, Master of Heichi came over. Luli said, Master of Heichi, surrender to me. You only have to serve me for 100 years. If you do not, I will kill all the powerful warriors of your species, and your people will become the slaves of the Heichi race. Master of Heichi, if Master of Fairy Fox does not surrender, I will find a way to capture her and give her to you. You can do whatever you want with the females of the Fairy Fox race. Thank you, Master. Master of Heichi's eyes glowed. He dropped to one knee and stared at Master of Fairy Fox. Luli shrugged and said to Master of 10-Winged Wolf, Master of 10-Winged Wolf, now is your chance. Make your choice. Master of 10-Winged Wolf was tough. He said coldly, Despicable human, you want me to surrender to you? Just give up. Okay. Luli asked Master of Heichi. Can you get Master of Ten-Winged Wolf out? No problem. Master of Heichi nodded. He transformed back to his original form and inhaled. A stream of cyan air flowed out, enveloping Master of Ten-Winged Wolf and moving him out. Dragon Demon, kill him. Luli flew up, and the Dragon Demon whooshed on. The Dragon Demon smashed at Master of Ten-Winged Wolf's head with its paw. Bang! Master of Ten-Winged Wolf tried to fly away. However, the red air wave from the Dragon Demon immobilized the Ten-Winged Wolf, and it was smashed to death. Crack, crack. Then, the Dragon Demon opened its mouth and bit off Master of Ten-Winged Wolf's head. But after a few bites, the Dragon Demon spat it out as if the flesh of Ten-Winged Wolf was not tasty enough. The Dragon Demon stared at Master of Silver Dragon excitedly. Clearly, it wanted to devour him. All right, Luli turned to Master of Fairy Fox and said coldly, Master of Fairy Fox, it is your turn. Make your choice. Don't worry, if you do not surrender, I will not kill you. I will only destroy your cultivation and seal up your soul. I have promised Master of Heichi. Ha. Master of Heichi laughed obscenely. Master of Fairy Fox pulled a long face. She was a superior queen, a mythical beast to be. She was more powerful and enjoyed a higher status than Master of Heichi. In the past, Master of Heichi was only qualified to tremble at her feet. How dare he try to take advantage of her? If her cultivation was destroyed and her soul was sealed, she would suffer a fate worse than death in the hands of Master of Heichi. Chapter 979. Say no. You have guts. Luli waved his hand and shouted, Master of Heichi, get Master of Fairy Fox out. Okay. Master of Heichi was thrilled. He took a deep breath and enveloped Master of Fairy Fox. Master of Fairy Fox moved slowly to the outside. She stared at the glowing golden eyes of the Dragon Demon with fear. She knew that what awaited her was going to be a miserable end. As the cyan airstream moved out, Master of Fairy Fox became more and more frightened. The lust in Master of Heichi's eyes was too strong. She remembered that she and the Master of Heichi seemed to share a grudge. If she were to fight to the end, not only would she be humiliated by the Master of Heichi, all of her people would be tortured to death. Finally, the cyan airstream moved Master of Fairy Fox out. Luli said coldly, Dragon Demon, destroy Master of Fairy Fox and dig out her inner core. Don't kill her. Hoot! Hoot! The Dragon Demon spread its wings and whooshed on. Its iron whip-like tail swung at Master of Fairy Fox. The ferocious energy from the tail terrified Master of Fairy Fox to the extreme. No. Eventually, Master of Fairy Fox made up her mind and shouted. Luli had been paying attention to Master of Fairy Fox. He ordered the Dragon Demon to stop at once. Hoot! Hoot! The Dragon Demon bellowed and stopped its tail. But the red airstream spread out and restrained Master of Fairy Fox. Luli did not say anything after he gave the order. He looked at Master of Fairy Fox, who closed her eyes in pain. Sighing, she said, I am willing to surrender. Fox Queen, Master of Silver Dragon yelled in rage. How can you do this? Have you forgotten the glory of the Palea beasts? Have you forgotten the glory of the fairy foxes? Have you forgotten the oath you made when you became Master of Fairy Fox? The Master of Fairy Fox trembled, but she did not say anything in the end. Once she said something or let go of her dignity, she would no longer have the courage to carry on. The fact that Fox Queen did not commit suicide was proof that she did not have the courage to keep her faith. Fox Queen was not afraid of death, but that did not mean that she was not afraid of her own kind being slaughtered and her women being abused. She was still young. She was not tired of living. All right, Fairy Fox King, I will also give you a promise. Luli nodded with a straight face and said, Surrender to me and serve me for 100 years. After 100 years, I will set you free and promise that I will never kill any of your fairy foxes. Give me your origin soul. Master of Fairy Fox was still in pain. Soon, between her eyebrows glowed. A pink flower flew over and disappeared into Luli's forehead. All right, Luli sensed a spiritual connection with Fox Queen. He ordered the dragon demon to let her go. Fox Queen walked behind Luli. Her interspatial ring glowed, and she put on a white dress. Master of Heichi turned back to his human form. He twitched his mouth, unwilling to give up. But as soon as Luli glanced over, he lowered his head and stood still. Now that Master Fairy Fox was Luli's spiritual beast, Master of Heichi dared not to have too much hope. Only you are left, Silver Dragon King. Luli turned to the Master of Silver Dragon, who was rolling around in the cyan airstream. The Master of Silver Dragon roared. You want me to surrender? Don't even think about it. Dream on. We, the Silver Dragons, are the noblest species. We have dominated the universe for over 1,000,000 years. Later on, we were the overlords of the Paleobeast realm. You want me to surrender to a puny human? Never. Dragon Demon. Luli did not waste any more time. The Dragon Demon released the red airstream at once to bind up the Master of Silver Dragon. That being said, the Master of Silver Dragon was quite strong. He could still move his body and roar. Get him out. Luli ordered Master of Heichi. At the same time, he sent Patriarch of Law Enforcement and Little White out. The Master of Silver Dragon was powerful. Luli could not afford to be careless. Swish, swish, Master of Heichi moved the Master of Silver Dragon out bit by bit. The Master of Silver Dragon did not commit suicide. His eyes were filled with anger. He was ready to fight to the death with Luli. Soon, the Master of Silver Dragon was moved out. When a cyan airstream was free, the Master of Silver Dragon bellowed into the sky. His body glowed in silver light as he broke free from the red airstream and dashed toward Luli. Futile struggle. Luli waved his hand. Master of Fairy Fox released the enchantment at once. The dragon demon struck at the Master of Silver Dragon with its huge claw. Patriarch of Law Enforcement took out his black iron rod and began to gather dark elements. Little White did not fly out. It stood on Luli's shoulder, looking for a chance to sneak up. Bang! The dragon demon was clearly stronger than the Master of Silver Dragon. The dragon demon scratched at the Master of Silver Dragon with its claw. The Master of Silver Dragon tried to defend with his tail, but was smashed away by the dragon demon. Some scales fell off and blood oozed out. Master of Fairy Fox's enchantment had some effect on the Master of Silver Dragon, but not too much. That being said, it was enough. Patriarch of Law Enforcement rushed over and used a 9th rank profound meaning. The black airstream formed into a rod and smashed away the Master of Silver Dragon. The Master of Silver Dragon did not suffer much damage. Only 2 scales fell off. Roar, roar. Once again, the Master of Silver Dragon dashed over in rage. The Dragon Demon and Patriarch of Law Enforcement moved to the left and right. Master of Fairy Fox's eyes kept shooting out white glares to distract the Master of Silver Dragon. Luli stood in midair indifferently. He did not take any actions. The 3 of them were enough. Unless he used the Slayer's blood, he would not be able to hurt the Master of Silver Dragon. Bang, bang, bang. Loud noises were heard. Every now and then, Patriarch of Law Enforcement would be smashed away by the Master of Silver Dragon, and the Master of Silver Dragon would be smashed away by the Dragon Demon. Occasionally, Patriarch of Law Enforcement could smash the Master of Silver Dragon away as well. Master Fairy Fox was fast, with the Dragon Demon and Patriarch of Law Enforcement blocking the Master of Silver Dragon. The Master of Silver Dragon would not be able to reach her. Therefore, she had been wandering around and using enchantment to affect the Master of Silver Dragon. Boom! Once again, the Silver Dragon King went flying. The Silver Dragon King crashed into a tall mountain not far away, causing it to crumble. The mountain slid down, boulders rolled, and dust billowed. It was a spectacular scene. The Master of Silver Dragon was covered in blood, and many scales had fallen off. But he was still trying to get to Luli. In the past, the Master of Silver Dragon had thought that the 2 humans were led by Patriarch of Law Enforcement. Now, he realized that it was Luli. The Master of Silver Dragon could die contentedly as long as he could kill the culprit that caused the disaster at the Paleobeast realm. Swish, swish, finding a chance, the Master Silver Dragon shot out 2 thunderbolts at Luli. But Patriarch of Law Enforcement was not worried at all. Luli did not try to dodge. The dragon armor protected him. As expected, the 2 bolts of thunderbolts did not do much harm to Luli. He only felt numb, as if he had been electrocuted. Most of his strength was absorbed by the dragon armor. Dragon Demon, take care of the Master of Silver Dragon. Luli saw the will to die in Master of Silver Dragon's eyes. He did not try to persuade him to surrender. Since the Dragon Demon was so eager to eat the Master of Silver Dragon, Luli chose to fulfill its wish by feeding the Dragon Demon. Bang! An hour later, the Silver Dragon King was smashed down again. This time, it did not get up again. The Dragon Demon unleashed the red airstream and crushed the Master of Silver Dragon's head. The Dragon Demon opened its mouth and began to tear at the Master of Silver Dragon. The Silver Dragon King was dead, and the ancient beasts were defined. The sound of firecrackers could be heard everywhere. The atmosphere of the new year had finally arrived. The streets were crowded with people and carriages, and it was extremely lively. However, the old demon still had to write his story. Miserable, miserable, miserable. What about you guys? Chapter 980. The Dragon Demon was enjoying the meal. Nothing had ever tasted so good. The Dragon Demon's eyes glowed, and it was intoxicated. The mountain-sized dragon was swallowed up by the Dragon Demon. Then, the Dragon Demon closed its eyes in enjoyment, as if it was digesting the food and energy. Let's go in. Luli put away the Dragon Demon so that the Dragon Demon could absorb the energy. He was looking forward to the Dragon Demon's progress after this meal. Okay. Luli turned to Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi and said, Master of Silver Dragon is dead. If you too want to dominate the Paleobeast realm, I can help you. Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi were overjoyed. Master of Fairy Fox bowed and said, Master, please help us to wipe out the mountain of dragons. There's a pond of dragons there, a land of treasures. With the pond of dragons, our 2 species can grow stronger quickly. Pond of dragons? Luli was curious. What kind of land of treasures? Is it helpful for cultivation? Yes. Master of Fairy Fox explained, there is liquid of dragons in the pond of dragons. When you soak in the liquid of dragons for a while, your physical body will be strengthened. There is a path of rising dragons above the pond of dragons. In the path of rising dragons, you can learn profound meanings faster. That is a land of treasures? Luli was even more curious. He waved his hand and said, Show me the way to the mountain of dragons. The Master of Silver Dragon was killed. Though there were still some beast gods among the silver dragons, it was not a burden for Luli and the others. Master, you don't have to fly there. Master of Heichi said, We have another skill that allows us to fly across the void. I will activate the tunnel now. We can arrive at the Mountain of Dragons after a few rounds. Master of Fairy Fox added, Master, how about I send a message to the Mountain of Dragons and the Heichi race? We are close to the Heichi race. We can ask the beast gods of the Heichi race to come. Sure. The Fairy Fox race had many powerful warriors, and the Heichi race could send some. In this way, Luli did not have to do much, and he could prevent the silver dragons from escaping. Since the Master of Silver Dragon had chosen to fight to the death, then he must have been prepared for the extinction of his race. Luli did not want a powerful race to seek revenge on him. Master of Heichi and Master of Fairy Fox flew away. They found a bond beast nearby and asked her to send a message to the Heichi and Fairy Foxes, asking them to gather at the Mountain of Dragons. Also, Luli asked the bond beast to deliver Luli's orders. Master of Silver Dragon, Ghost Face Spider, Spiritual Cheongchi, Tin-Winged Wolf, and Master of Blood Ape had been killed. Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi had declared their loyalty to Luli. If the other species did not surrender, Luli would wash the Paleobeast realm with blood. There were many bond beasts, and their subsidiary bodies were spread across the Paleobeast realm. In 2 hours, Luli's words had spread across the entire Paleobeast realm. The Paleobeast realm was in an uproar. 5 of the 7 masters were killed, and 2 surrendered. What did this mean? It meant that the Paleobeast realm had been conquered by humans, and by 2 humans. Once upon a time, many of the ancient beast race had wanted to kill their way back into the 9 realms and take over the most fertile lands. They wanted to rise above the 10,000 races and trample the human race beneath their feet. 2 humans. Merely 2 humans had leveled the Paleobeast realm, shattered the dreams of many Paleobeasts, and trampled on their pride and dignity. Countless ancient beasts were enraged. Many of them were terrified. Even more of them were in despair. The silver dragons had dominated the Paleobeast realm for 1,000,000 years. Now, Master Silver Dragon had died. Who else could stand against the 2 humans? Tens of millions of miles away from the battlefield where Lu Li and Master Silver Dragon fought, there were still over 200 beast gods. The 200 beast gods were thrown into confusion when they heard the news. The powerful ones of the fairy fox and Heichi fled at once, fearing that they would be killed by the other species. The other species, on the other hand, were not in the mood to go after the beast gods of the 2 species. They flew back to their territories at once to gather the powerful ones of their species and discuss how to deal with the upcoming situation. Lu Li and the others were already flying across the void under the lead of Master of Heichi. They were not far away from the Mountain of Dragons. After 7 rounds, they were close to the Mountain of Dragons. The mountain is magnificent. Lu Li stood in midair, nodding to himself as he gazed at the rolling mountains in the distance. The mountains happened to be connected. Looking from afar, they looked like a dragon. The tallest one is the Mountain of Dragons. Master of Heichi explained attentively. Lu Li nodded and asked, "When will the powerful ones of your species come?" "Soon." Master of Heichi and Master of Fairy Fox looked at each other and said, "In 8 to 10 hours at the latest, most of our species will be here." "Well, let's wait." The silver dragons are not going anywhere. However, Lu Li did not even bother to deal with some beast gods of the silver dragon species. He stood in midair and waited quietly. Whoosh, whoosh, in just over 6 hours, the sky began to tremble. Many Heichi dashed out, followed by many beautiful ladies. There must be hundreds of them. What? Lu Li saw that many ladies were still at the Beast King realm. How could they transform? Master of Fairy Fox explained sensibly. "Master, our species has a special skill that allows us to transform after the Noble Lord realm." Lu Li nodded. He saw hundreds of beast kings and beast gods of the Heichi species. He waved his hand and said, "Let's attack." Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi went to their respective species and flew toward the Master of Silver Dragon. Lu Li and Patriarch of Law Enforcement followed them. Every now and then, some Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi would sneak glances at them with mixed feelings. There was fear, hatred, killing intent, humiliation. But since the masters of the 2 species had surrendered, the powerful ones of the 2 species did not dare to do anything to anger Lu Li and Patriarch of Law Enforcement. They followed them to the Mountain of Dragons. Roar, roar. Over at the Silver Dragon's side, many 9-clawed silver dragons had already flown up. They hovered in midair and roared in rage. Over 1,000 silver dragons were dancing in the sky, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It was a spectacular sight. Whoosh, whoosh, when they were closer to the Mountain of Dragons, 5 people flew up. They were the 5 beast gods of the silver dragons. The 5 glared at Lu Li and the others. A white-bearded old man pointed at Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi and bellowed, "You 2 are losers of the Paleobeasts. How dare you surrender to the despicable humans? Have you forgotten the blood feud between us and the humans? Have you forgotten what the humans have done? How can you face your ancestors when you die?" Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi said nothing. Those of the Fairy Fox species and the Heichi species were ashamed and embarrassed. Back in the days, Paleobeasts dominated dozens of universes nearby. Their population was hundreds or even thousands of times larger than now. But in the end, more than half of the Paleobeasts were slaughtered by humans. The hatred between the Paleobeasts and the humans could not be resolved. "What is there to say?" Lu Li said coldly. "The winner takes all." Back when paleo-beasts were strong, humans were slaughtered. There is no justice or evil in a war between races. Therefore, these words are meaningless. Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi, do it. Luli gave a direct order. Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi did not dare to disobey him. Master of Fairy Fox shouted, "Charge!" The Master of Fairy Fox's robe was burned, revealing a thin layer of gauze. Her graceful body flew into the air and danced on it. She immediately released the enchantment. Kill! Master of Heichi bellowed as well. Hundreds of Heichi flew up, covering the sky. P.S. During the new year, I didn't have a single chapter to write. There were a lot of things to do, so I'm taking a leave from today onwards. Of course, I won't stop writing. I'll write a chapter on the first day of the new year. From today until the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, one chapter will be updated every day. After the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, it will resume normal updates and start bursting out to make up for the remaining 11 chapters. Of course, he wouldn't be able to make up for the missing chapters during the new year. Otherwise, the old demon would be exhausted to death. He had been writing for a year. He had been busy for a year. There were no weekends, no holidays, and he had been writing even when he was sick. During the Lunar New Year, the old monster wishes to spend some time with his family and relax for a few days. Please understand. Chapter 981. Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement did not even have to do anything. The fairy foxes and the Heichi species had wiped out the silver dragons. Master of Fairy Fox was powerful. She was a mythical beast, a semi-god realm warrior. One semi-god realm warrior could defeat a group of Earth immortal realm warriors. Master of Fairy Fox alone could wipe out the silver dragons. Master of Fairy Fox's enchantment awed the beast gods. Then, Master of Heichi trapped the beast gods first. Then, the two species began to purge the silver dragons. In a couple of hours, the mountain of dragons was dyed red with blood. Many mountains nearby were flattened, and bones were piled up. As the most powerful species in the paleo-beast realm, the silver dragons had a large population of at least tens of thousands. The two affiliated species added together had a population of over 100,000. Apart from the young talents that were sent away, the other silver dragons and the two affiliated species were all killed. In the end, Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi killed the beast gods of the silver dragons themselves. Luli let the dragon demon out. He did not ask the dragon demon to kill the silver dragons. Instead, he asked if the dragon demon would eat the beast gods of the silver dragons. Unfortunately, the dragon demon was picky about what it ate, not even the beast gods of the silver dragons. The dragon demon shook its head and disappeared into between Luli's eyebrows. Where is the pond of dragons? Luli did not mind cleaning up the battlefield. After all, Master of Fairy Fox and Master of Heichi would not keep anything for themselves. They would give all to him. Master, this way, please. Master of Fairy Fox seemed to have been to the pond of dragons before. She led the way with great familiarity. Master of Heichi stayed behind to clean up the battlefield and collect the valuables of the silver dragons. Together with Luli and Patriarch of Law Enforcement, Master of Fairy Fox flew to a huge mountain nearby. She shot a ray of Xian energy on a wall that was as smooth as a mirror. Buzzing, a huge black hole suddenly appeared on the stone wall. Master of Fairy Fox took the lead and walked into the black hole. Luli used psychic power to check. It was a long and winding corridor. The pond of dragons should be at the bottom of the mountain. He was right. Luli walked into the corridor. Master of Fairy Fox led him to the depth. They walked for a couple of miles before arriving at an Earth Immortal Realm Warrior's palace. There were two pitch-black doors in the palace. At this moment, the doors were shining with silver light, and there were silver dragon patterns on them. It was clear that the restrictions had been activated. The Fairy Fox King observed for a while and said, "Master, there are usually two elders of the Silver Dragon clan guarding this place. They should know what is happening outside, so they have activated the restrictive formation. The restrictive formation is very strong. I can only break it with brute force. It might take half a month. Breaking the formation with brute force. Luli shook his head. He took out the wicked bead to send Bones of Tortoise and Kamang out. Pointing to the gate, he said, "Let's see how to break it." Bones of Tortoise was the best in formations among paleo beasts, and Kamang was the best in the Heaven Reverse universe. Luli believed that they could solve the problem easily. Bones of Tortoise frowned and observed for a moment. Then he shook his head and said, "Master, this formation is very mysterious. It must have been set up by my ancestor. Moreover, there was another formation master who enhanced the power of the formation and changed it. To break it, it will be very, very difficult." Luli turned to Kamang, who put on a mocking grin. A glint of coldness rose in Luli's eyes. He smashed at Bones of Tortoise's head and killed him at once. Then Luli said coldly, "You are useless. What are you for?" Master of Fairy Fox trembled. If she were not of some use, Luli would have killed her as well. "Saint Lord, please wait a moment. This formation is simple." Kamang took out some formation stones and some special materials to crack the formation. Patriarch of Law Enforcement put on the mystic armor and took out his weapon, ready to take action at any time. Both he and Luli had no doubts about Kamang's ability. Buzzing. In the time for 3 incense sticks to burn, the gate began to glow in a silver light. Then, the gate opened up quietly. 2 surges of horrifying energy spread out. Master of Fairy Fox used enchantment at once. Bones of Tortoise's body was still warm. If she did not perform well, and Luli thought she was useless, she would be doomed. There were indeed 2 patriarchs of the Silver Dragon in there. They dashed out, but were stunned by Master of Fairy Fox's presence. The 3rd level of enchantment was not a joke. Master of Fairy Fox's dancing body was a fatal temptation. Even Patriarch of Law Enforcement was aroused. Gulp, gulp. This was the first time Kamang saw Master of Fairy Fox using enchantment. He was tense, his eyes were red, and his breaths were fast. He was like a bull in heat. Whoosh, whoosh, Luli used his feather wind weapon and killed the last 2 patriarchs of the Silver Dragon race. Master of Fairy Fox stopped using enchantment and put on a robe. Kamang came to his senses. His robe was like a tent. Luli grinned. Patting Kamang's shoulder, he said, "Kamang, are you interested? How about I ask Master of Fairy Fox to stay with you for a few nights?" Patriarch of Law Enforcement turned his face away in embarrassment. Soon he calmed down. As soon as Kamang heard Luli's words, his breaths became shorter. He was trembling. He stared at Master of Fairy Fox with passion, as if he wanted to devour her. That being said, Kamang was not an average warrior. His realm was not high, but he had become a master of formations. His mind and willpower must be strong. Phew, that is impressive. Kamang closed his eyes to calm himself down. He sighed, touched his nose awkwardly, and said, "Saint Lord, don't make fun of me. I'm not that crazy." Master of Fairy Fox had taken the shape of a human being, but her body was still that of a beast. Her mind was still that of a beast. Apart from the skin, everything else was that of a beast. Asking a female fox to stay with him for a night? He was not that hardcore. Master of Fairy Fox's face blushed when she heard Luli and Kamang's conversation. Even though Kamang had implied something, she dared not to say anything. Instead, she looked at Luli with a pitiful and bitter look. "All right, I'm just kidding. Don't act like you were wronged." Luli threw Master of Fairy Fox a glance and walked in first. Inside was a cave, a large one. There were luminous pearls on the walls, lighting up the place. Pond of dragons? Finally, Luli and the others saw a huge pond after they walked for more than 1,000 feet. The pond had a radius of 1,000 feet. It was filled with steaming white liquid. On one of the walls, there were 3 protruding stones. The white liquid was dripping out slowly. Next to the pond of dragons was a dark cave. The cave meandered into the depths. Luli sensed something strange. That must be the so-called path of rising dragons. Soaking in there can strengthen one's body? Is it useful for humans? Luli asked. "It should be." "Master, You can go in and have a try. Master of Fairy Fox explained, the liquid of dragons is useful to all beasts. I once soaked in it and my body was strengthened. It is amazing. The liquid should be natural water. Okay, I will have a try. Luli's body was already strong, comparable to the peak of the Earth immortal realm. If he could strengthen it further, he could be as strong as a semi-god realm warrior. By then, even without the dragon armor, average semi-god realm warriors would not be able to kill him. He soared into the air and flew directly into the divine dragon pool, enveloping his entire body in the divine dragon liquid. Plop, plop. As soon as Luli entered the pond of dragons, something happened. All of a sudden, he screamed in pain. Then the liquid of dragons in the pond began to boil. P.S. Happy New Year's Eve. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.